just get that loaded. I don't know. Could you just like talk randomly for a minute? I need to make sure that the audio is working from your end. That's always the best kind of talk to have, the random talk. Nope, that's perfect though. It does seem like it's picking up your audio, so I guess that if anyone joins in the stream, or if one of like them wants to check the stream on their phones, we'll see how it actually sounds coming out, but it should be evened out roughly with ours, I'm hoping. Let's see, streaming already. Let me change all this stuff. I hate fucking starting a new stream. I always gotta change everything, and I'm so lazy with it. I like put the bare minimums in my tag and descriptions and stuff all the time. Okay, so oh, I think I hear them coming back down. Oh yeah, they are here. There's Mighty. I guess Taru's coming down now. What, she asked you to bring the pizza down for her?
Yeah.
Of course she did.
I was going to question it, but I'm not allowed to question Taru.
Boogity boogity boo.
Oh, there.
Booga booga.
There they are.
Did you say you were not allowed to have food down here?
Well, I did before, just because I was cleaning up and I kind of wanted it nice down here. But you know,
Well, too bad.
did you bring napkins or anything?
No, I'll go get napkins. Yes, sir. You know, I kind of regret not leaving that bag of clothes here because now I have to sit around.
Oh
in
God,
work
Sam, what do you
clothes.
want? Hello? What's up? Snow pants right now? Probably not.
That's my hat.
No,
my
clue, sorry.
Sonic.
Yeah, no, I have no idea. We're not gonna have those right now at my store.
Oh, excuse me.
All right, sorry. Sam wants snow pants. What are you going skiing again? Anyway, the stream is going, so it doesn't seem like anyone's in the chat. I'll pop that out though right now. Mighty, you're gonna take these headphones, and I'll put these ones on. There you go.
All right.
And then she'll have hers in, and I guess we'll have to make space. So I don't know.
God, I've got so much hair. Yo.
Yeah, that's why I wear a hood most of the time. It's just easier.
That's why I had my hat, but then Marissa stole it.
Wait, which hat?
Hmm?
Which hat?
The Sonic hat that I brought in here.
Oh, okay.
I wasn't wearing it most of the time.
I didn't even realize. I don't know. I'm lazy with descriptions, so that's as good as it's gonna get. I guess this would be not gaming necessarily, but it would be gaming. But I'm gonna put it at gaming anyway, because you know I shouldn't say. Can I just put like Nintendo Switch? Does that work? No. No, it asked me to put a game in specifically.
Hello.
Hey, Nintendo Fan is a game. It's a game choice. I'll just put it as Nintendo Fan. There you go.
Oh, I like Nerdeo's image.
Yeah, so I have all of our images there.
Yes. It's amazing.
Nerdio's just an adorable Sakura.
Should I change it? Should I change it to Nerdeo's me? I never did that. He never gave me an answer on which one he wanted. What is it? It's off of your YouTube page, right? I can probably get it off of there.
You got everything, I see. Forget you have the giant case.
Although I will have to go back to Photoshop then.
Well, I didn't
Dang.
bring my dock or anything. It's just that case has room for the charger and shit.
Can I like open the image in a new tab and get it?
Oh, God.
That's fine.
Foxy loves you.
I have some unfortunate memories of this bastard.
Oh God, the Foxy plush.
He's canon. That's the best part. And that's why he's always the first one to sell out of my store. Why does that have my
That's
Switch?
Nerdieo right there, right? That's his picture? Yes, it is.
I hope
Right.
Nerdieo can hear me babbling to myself in the background.
You should be able to hear everything. Yeah, he hears you.
Yeah, you can hear.
You just need headphones in so you can hear him now.
Of course.
Did I even?
Of course,
Where the
that's
hell
what
did
I'm
I
looking
save
for, but I
that
pulled
to?
out my
Please tell me I
Switch
saved that
before.
to a good save.
That was the
Or am I
only
just-
option I had.
Zero's in the chat. Zero's usually one who gets here first. How you doing, Zero?
I don't think that's
Okay.
gonna work.
Damn it.
What?
Especially
Oh my God,
considering
I
I'm already wearing headphones over it.
Everything
Did it
works. You
properly
try hard
save
enough.
into the characters folder? What the hell did I? Where did I save it to? That's so
Did you
stupid.
lose things, baby?
I tried to save this. I tried to save the new image, and it saved to.
Downloads?
Oh, it saved there. Okay.
Where'd it save? Was I right? Was it in downloads?
My fist hissed. Like
No, it's not in downloads.
Damn it. Now where is the splitter?
I have it up here. You just need to plug your headphone. You need to give me your plug.
I had to fix my headphones. The cushions keep falling off.
Oops, did it go here? No, it went in here. Okay, or I'm stupid. It just didn't save it. I don't know. I don't know how to use computers anymore.
Yeah, he's just that stupid.
Save it to characters. Good. You know what? I'll call it Nerdieo. While I'm doing this, you guys can get started however you want. I mean, I didn't do introductions in the channel, so you guys can go ahead and introduce all yourselves real quick. Even though everyone
Whoever
should
wants
already
to go
kind of know.
first. We can't talk over each other, remember?
Yeah, it's gonna be.
Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, and gamers alike. My name is Mighty, and welcome.
As you know, I'm Taru. Feel like I don't need an introduction. You know me, Einstein.
Quality showmanship there from all people.
Wonderful.
Now, for the topic at hand,
Clearly,
I'm gonna pass it back to you people because I'm still trying to work on
I'm
this.
stuffing my face with food.
so I figured when we begin, everyone here remembers the initial reveal trailer for the Switch, correct?
Yep.
Okay.
Oh, it was.
Wow,
see,
really?
see, me and Taru made like a little bit of a date out of it. Like we were prepared like days before, and we just like sat there and watched the whole thing.
Yeah.
Pretty sure we had like chips and everything.
Yeah. Didn't we live tweet the whole thing?
We started to. I kind of gave up partway through.
I just saw Splatoon 2, and you could just go through my Twitter on that day. I just flipped out when I saw that
Yeah.
that game.
Alright. Son of a bitch. Let me just pull up the trailer quick. I want to go over certain details of it.
Oh, okay.
Specifically, I very much appreciate how they focus on, of course, the game. They show the controller in the guy's hand, and then they zoom in to show what the console is. Completely the opposite of everything they did for the initial Wii U reveal.
The Wii U reveal was kind of crap.
I don't remember the Wii U reveal.
You don't remember the Wii U reveal? That was.
That's exactly why.
Yeah.
Like, they
think-
specifically
Unmemorable.
made a point of showing off the tablet controller, which, I mean, it's the gamepad. We all know what that is. But
The tablet controller.
But they didn't. I think if you watch the. I think if you watch the entire original Wii U trailer, they don't show the Wii U, do they? Except for like the very
they don't
end.
show the console at all. I think there was like,
Yeah.
Wow.
as an aside, I'm sure everyone here like really liked the Wii U, right?
I was happy with it. I got it like at the last year of the Wii U cycle, and that was literally just for Smash, just to play Smash.
Smash, and then I got into Splatoon big.
Like everyone recently talking about how much of a success the Switch is. They all start shitting on the Wii U immediately, and it breaks my heart because it was a good console ruined by bad marketing. Honestly,
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, it does come down to the games a lot more than that. I mean, you see the drastic difference. We have fucking
Well,
Skyrim and Rocket League on the Switch,
that
whereas
being
the
said-
whereas the Wii U got like really nothing except for like upgraded versions of its Wii games.
well, yes and no. of course, there was. I mean, Splatoon, of course, originated on the Wii U, and we all know how fucking amazing of a game that is.
Splatoon and Smash Bros. Saved the Wii U.
Again, that's still years after.
Well, I mean, they didn't particularly save it.
Yeah, they
went down with the ship. Anyway, but yeah, give me a second. I still didn't pull it up because I was busy fucking praying over the Wii U's grave. Anyway.
But yeah, Nerdieo, how about you? What were your initial impressions of the Switch when you saw that initial reveal trailer on your birthday? How, what were your initial thoughts about the Switch? Really? Oh, so you saw it as being another Wii U.
Yeah, that is. I mean, yeah, yeah. I mean, it does make sense that like that's what you would consider, because who would think that this little tablet right here is more powerful than that big ass brick that the Wii U was?
I mean, I never had a problem. I never had a problem even thinking about the Switch's power, because I remember back on the 3DS, I mean, it happened rarely that you got actual good graphics games, but even on the 3DS, you could play cutscenes from fucking Kingdom Hearts on the 3DS back then. And it felt like it felt like when they went to the, no, that wasn't even the 3DS, that was the DS.
Cutscenes are a different matter entirely.
Or Game Boy Advance or whatever. But you get into 3DS, and I feel like they never really even used the graphic capabilities on the 3DS that well.
Not really.
Like, no. Pokemon, like, I mean, as good as the models were, as cute as they were.
Oh, what you gonna say?
They can't hear one of us. You can't hear. Oh God! Hold on.
Said I need to buy desktop audio.
Yeah. Hold on. It might be because I set it to the recording settings. So that's probably why. There you go. Nerd. They should be able to hear him now. See, I wouldn't tested this before, but that's why we need something in chat.
Zero apparently needs to leave.
That's fine. It should definitely be working. It should definitely be working now, though.
But anyway, yeah. One of my major disappointments is the fact that a dog was not included with the Nintendo Switch.
A dog?
Yeah, I mean, come on, they can't tease us like that. They can't tease us like that. I'm actually setting up a lawsuit for false advertising that should be going out tomorrow.
You know, it took me a while to even see the dog face, and people kept pointing it out to me, and I was like, okay.
Dude, look, it's right there.
He has a derpy pair of eyes. He has a derpy pair of eyes, though.
He comes up right there like, hey, take me for a walk, jackass. Quit playing your Zoldos. I need to go outside. But yeah, that is the transitioning point to where it shows the logo. The dude walks over, takes the Joy-Con out of the controller, which, you know, you're seeing that for the first time. You're like, what the shit? What is that controller?
He's taking apart his controllers. What is this? He puts
it down, and then it snaps on, and he just takes it out of the dock, and then Zelda's on that screen there. And that is that beautiful moment where you're like, holy shit, what is this guy doing? This is what this console is.
Just the portable aspect of the console is just... It really is the game changer. The Nintendo Switch really is the game changer of consoles, and that's what I love. And like, people are underestimating it, but it's selling, oh my god, I love it.
And then the rest of the reveal trailer is just hip, trendy millennials playing games outside.
Hip, trendy millennials.
Does anyone remember the rumors that were going around before the Switch came out about the NX?
Absolutely.
I remember every single one. Yeah, absolutely.
Because every single one. I very specifically remember like bits and pieces. I of course remember the oval ass screen one where like
screen. That was an interesting.
That was hilarious. I can't believe people actually thought that was going to be it. Some people.
I looked at that and like, no way.
But I was at one point I was convinced. That's how bad it was.
You know, I could have seen it, but at the same time, I felt like that was just a weird design in total. But we knew for a while before the Switch trailer came out that we knew that was going to be some kind of weird hybrid console. We had so many rumors about that, and we were all still stunned when we saw the commercial like that first time. Even though we all knew that's basically what was going to be happening, or we at least had a good idea.
I remember when like it was first quote unquote revealed that it was going to be working off of cartridges, and people were like, "What the hell, brick ass cartridges fitting into this thing? What are they talking about?" And now we see this thing and it's the size of a cough drop.
Just remember, don't lick it.
Yeah, we have too many people doing that. We don't need any more licking of the cartridges.
Speaking of which,
I lick every single cartridge. Don't you? Every single game I will lick, and I have to this day. Upon purchasing, I rip open that plastic and I lick that sucker.
See,
that is exactly how it's done.
I still have not.
Really?
I've been ever so tempted every time.
What's your favorite flavor?
My favorite flavor is it's Rayman Legends. That's my favorite flavor.
Beautiful flavor,
let's
best
take a
flavor.
Second to segue, because speaking of Rayman, Rayman Raving Rabbits crossing over with Mario is a rumor that started circulating as soon as we learned what the Switch was.
Yeah.
How many of you guys believe that? How many of you guys thought that was going to be a thing when the rumor came out?
I didn't know enough about... go ahead, Nerdieo.
Oh no, go. Please go. I've been taking too many firsts.
I didn't know enough about Rayman, honestly. Like, I barely knew enough about Rayman. I didn't even know rabbits were from Rayman. So when I, like, heard about that and saw, like, the fake things about it, or I don't even know if some of them are real, I guess. I don't even know anymore.
Well, I mean, they were real.
They were real.
Like, everything was.
The leaks were, right? Like, the images
we knew
that we got.
about it, like, a year or so in advance, and then, like, just before E3, like, renders started showing up of, like,
yes, I remember
damsel in distress, so cliche, badass princesses in, and like people were losing their shit because they were like, "Oh my god, badass on a Nintendo document? What the hell?"
So yeah, I thought it was a perfect match just from the visual style, and I just didn't realize that it was like Ubisoft and Rayman that was rabbits were from. So when I first saw it, I was like, that looks kind of cute. But now that I see the game itself, I'm like, how the hell did this not happen earlier?
I actually knew what the rabbits were from like the Wii minigame party game shit.
Oh, I had that one.
Yeah, Raving Rabbits.
Rayman Raving Rabbits, and I knew they were those screamy ass annoying white rabbit things that were basically the video game equivalent of the Minions.
Yeah, that's
and
what
I saw this crossover, and I heard the screams of all the damned children. But now looking back on it, I'm actually quite glad it was leaked, because, as you all remember, it was revealed at E3, and then like just a couple months later, it came out. I'm quite glad it was leaked, because if they had revealed it at E3, I feel like there would have been a lot more concern about it. Like, people wouldn't have had the time to mentally prepare themselves for this kind of thing.
I was not prepared when I saw this, because I didn't even see the leaks, and I saw that commercial, and I was just like, what is this? What have they done? Because I had the Wii version of the Rabbit, and it was a fun mini-game, it was entertaining, but those things were annoying.
Sitting on my knees is painful.
Yeah, I figure this is gonna have to be fixed somehow.
I was about to say, do you want a chair? Because I can sit. I can sit on this lap, actually. We're all old people.
Technical difficulties. We'll be right back.
But oh my god. When I saw that, I was like, how is this going to be a good game? What are they going to do to Mario? Because everything's about to turn to chaos when these rabbits touch Mario.
Now, you see, I mean, rabbits, though, itself leads into two completely different conversations that I think are even more important than the rabbits itself. Is the matter of third parties on the Switch in general, and the matter of third parties working with Nintendo first-party IPs and making things out of them.
Oh my god!
Because that's just like the beginning of it. Like, you can just think of all the different franchises or companies that can take control of a Nintendo product and maybe turn it into something even better, like they did with Rabbids. Rabbids is a great game. Like, it's not even like it's a bad game.
I remember actually watching an interview on with the person who made the game, and after the interview was done, he said that he viewed it as being the first person to make an official Nintendo fan game.
It really is,
and that I think that describes it perfectly.
I can't really think of another title where Nintendo's like, yeah, here, just take Mario, or just take Kirby. Like, when did they do that? They never do.
Honestly, the fact that they did that at all Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, like, not to mention the fact that the first time that the first time that Mario was proposed to be with a gun, Nintendo said yes. Let's realize that they gave Mario a gun, and Nintendo said yes.
Oh, they seem to definitely be breaking away from the E for everyone thing in this
Oh,
Switch.
no,
They don't seem to care what you put on the Switch right now.
I do love, though, that apparently the reason that Nintendo greenlighted it was that Ubisoft, in secret, just started creating like their own models of Mario characters, and then they showed it to Nintendo. And Nintendo was so impressed, they were just like, alright, you want to make a Mario game? Go ahead, make it a Mario game. And then Shigeru Miyamoto was just like, okay, just don't make it a platform. Like, if we're going to give you the permission to make a Mario game, we don't want it to be our Mario game. You make it your kind of game.
That's
which I
amazing.
feel is wonderful. I'm glad they were that kind of open.
They're opening up to all the companies, and so many companies are going to be flocking to them because Mario sells, and everyone's a fan of Mario. Who doesn't like Mario?
God.
It's like, who doesn't like Zelda and who doesn't like Kirby? Like, Nintendo's always been the family company that everyone flocks to, everyone enjoys, and it's just amazing how people can come up to them now and ask to be on the Switch and just apparently show them an idea for a game and they'll greenlight it.
Although we do have a problem of too many bad games getting onto the Switch. We do need to work.
Yeah,
we do need to
I do
figure out
notice
something
that.
about that at some point. But that's a discussion for a bit later on down the street.
I'm gonna get you a chair.
It's under the bed.
Before we get too far back into talking about how wonderfully wacky the Rabbids crossover is, let's start talking about the January presentation. Specifically, the games that were
See, I don't remember I don't remember all the presentations in order and what was revealed when. I just remember all the things being revealed.
I got a list of the games here, but I do want to talk about, like, since they started revealing certain technologies the Switch was able to do there, what do you guys think about certain things the Switch is capable of? Like, of course, the gyroscope and shit like that. I am 100% glad that they included that. I cannot play shooter games without it.
I mean, Nerdieo, do you have anything on that before we get started?
I do feel like I feel like some of the features they announced there are still, like, I'm still waiting for things like the hidden potential to be shown. Like, for example, the IR camera. No company has used it yet, except for Nintendo themselves for 1-2 Switch and now the Labo. That is it.
Well, like,
and we've officially.
Well, apparently there's a system like. I think it's in Resident Evil Revelations. I don't know if it's 1 or 2, but apparently you like reload your gun by pushing the Joy-Con closer to yourself and then pushing it away, which the IR camera uses apparently.
But see, is that
I don't understand why.
Is that the IR camera or is that the gyroscope and accelerometer? You could do the exact same thing with those two. You don't need the IR camera for that. So I'm wondering if.
Well, that's what.
Because I know that they use the accelerometer and the gyroscope for that game. I know you can do motion aiming with it like you could in the 3DS version.
And was the Human Resource Machine in World of Goo, did they use the IO camera
No,
or the
that's
gyroscope?
also
the gyroscope. That was all accelerometers and motion control.
Which I think was actually beautifully done too. I mean, it kind of like veers off to the side of the screen occasionally, but you know, for what you're doing on it, it worked pretty well actually as a pointer, considering you don't have like the mounted sensors like the Wii did.
There's just one thing I want to point out real quick. People seem to keep confusing the IR sensor for like the same kind of thing the Wiimote did. Like, that's not what it is. You would need a sensor bar over the Switch in order for that to be a pointer. That's not what that's for. Like, the IR camera is to sense like shapes and distance and stuff like that. It's not for like seeing stuff on a screen. It couldn't pick up stuff on a screen.
Yeah, but what we were saying is that in game, what was it? Who was it? Who made Human Resource Machine? Which company was that?
I don't remember.
For all the games that they ported over to the Switch, they worked out a cool way with the accelerator and accelerometer and the gyroscope to make it act like a Wiimote pointing at the screen, where you can actually tilt it and like point like a mouse. Yeah. And all you had to do was press like one button to like recalibrate it to the middle occasionally. But I haven't seen anything with the IR camera used, because I remember during the presentation they were talking about, it can detect rock, paper, scissors and things up to like. You know, I figured there'd be something with that, like maybe like QuickTime events or something, like put like
Oh,
make
God.
like QuickTime events where you gotta like make a shape in front of the camera.
I fear the day that happens.
Oh, that sounds fun.
only imagine
Like-
the
like-
madman.
Imagine that, babe.
Just
I
Naruto
can only
ninja.
imagine the madman Hideki Kamiya from, you know, Platinum Games, makes Bayonetta and shit. He would go crazy with that shit. He's like, alright, you're gonna have to do all these ninjutsus in front of that
exactly.
IR camera in order to hit this bad guy really, really hard.
Oh, that's beautiful.
That'll be fun. But I mean, we do need some
there-
more. They do need to like explain or at least put something out better because like even 1-2 Switch, it has like what, one game for the or 1 or 2 games for the IR camera. And, like,
I have
it's like
no
holding.
idea.
It's like
I didn't touch that game.
because I looked up all the games. I think the only one that really uses the IR camera is the one where you like pretend you're eating a sandwich or a hot dog or whatever it is, and it's like it's just telling
Yeah,
when your mouth is
that's the only one.
it's just telling when your mouth is open and closed. And like, yeah, it does it works, but that's not
We
really
need
showing
more
what you can do
things.
with it. They
Yeah.
need Nintendo probably is gonna have to start that one before anyone else really does anything with it, unless
They-
someone's just really creative.
And I think a good thing for people to visualize it better is when Nintendo Labo comes out, because we get to see with specifically the
Labo.
bug Labo.
Laboratory.
Yes,
Lab.
yeah.
Oh.
Yes, you're right. But
And there is a-
specifically with the bug that moves with the vibrations with the IR camera, I want people, if people can see how that works, maybe they can put something or make a game to use the IR camera more effectively.
Oh. And now that you've mentioned it, HD Rumble. I'm sure all of us were a little bit suspicious of what the hell that madman was doing when he started going, you can sense 1, 2, up to 3 ice cubes clinking in a glass. Like,
Yeah.
dude, what the hell are you talking about?
See, I wasn't surprised about that. I didn't see really the use for it, and even now in a lot of games that I've played that said they have HD Rumble, it's not enough.
It's
I've heard some people reviewing it saying that they can actually tell the difference between a lot of things. Me, it just feels like some slightly light rumbles.
The only game I have the argument against that for is Super Mario Odyssey. You can actually feel shit like the motor of the
Moped?
motorbike running. Yeah.
Yes, I was
Yes.
hoping you'd say that. And I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but in the actual grip, if you have the Joy-Cons in the actually even outside of the grip, the Joy-Cons will rumble and make the sounds of a motor.
Will it?
Yeah,
Okay.
That's
if you turn off
cool.
your audio, you can hear it in the Joy-Con.
That is kind of cool.
We definitely didn't really pay attention to the rumble that
Yeah,
much.
these two played through Mario Odyssey once, and they were like, alright, guess we're done.
Yeah, we just wanted to see the story mode and see how it is. We never actually finished that.
Losers.
Or we finished the game, but we never went to the extra stuff.
Exactly.
You need to do that shit. That's like, there's like another 2/3 of the game behind that shit.
But
Yes,
you see,
I know.
My experience with the HD Rumble though was I didn't get 1-2 Switch, but someone in my job had 1-2 Switch with their Switch, and it was the main game that I really felt what the HD Rumble and how
Ball
he was
roll.
saying was the ball roll.
Yep, ball
Guess
count.
how many balls are in the Joy-Con? That just, it blew my mind when I was actually able to feel that.
That's what I was talking about. So we need more. I was hoping for a few more things like that, like maybe a game where like it uses the rumble to let you know when something's happening,
See,
so you can like react to something
What we
instead
need
of just
is our
the
Lord and
feelings.
There is-
Savior of console gimmicks is WarioWare. We need a WarioWare
Yeah, we do.
mini game collection to just show off all the wonderful, weird things that the Joy-Con can do.
You know, I'm surprised we don't have a WarioWare yet. I really
Even
thought
an announcement
I
for
really
it?
thought we were gonna get something along the lines of WarioWare way earlier in the system's life, just given what it is.
Yeah.
Because what consoles, what Nintendo system doesn't have a WarioWare?
Apparently the Wii U.
Right?
It had Game & Wario.
Yep. No.
Really?
But
Yeah,
it didn't
Game &
have-
Wario,
It
but
didn't have like a legit WarioWare, which
I
is
only
really
know
weird
WarioWare from
because
Smash.
you know you could have had the freaking, you could have done all kinds of weird shit with the tablet.
It
but
should have been
no.
WarioWare instead of 1-2 Switch. That's basically what it should have
Yeah,
been.
that's basically what
Yeah.
it should have. But 1-2 Switch does show, it does its job of showing off the Joy-Cons. I still think it's a game that they should have given with the Switch, like how Wii Sports was with the Wii. But, you know, that was their decision.
they coulda
I
cut
think
out-
it cost them a
They
lot
could
of
have
sales
cut
for
out a
1-2
couple
Switch.
of the less necessary mini games and just made it smaller, just included it.
Well, before we keep on going on about games that we wish had come out, what else is there in trailers that you wanted to get through?
All right. Well,
before we start talking about anything else, because we should keep it a little bit on topic.
All right. Well, in the January
presentation...
Actually,
you know what?
What's up?
Oh, I was going to say, if we're speaking of trailers, there's actually an article I found a while ago with tons of game trailers. Well, not tons, but a bunch of game trailers they showed off for the Switch for games that have not come out yet. Like, to this day, we have no word on.
Oh,
I want to see if I can find that article.
Do you mean games that were like in the sizzle reels and stuff like that, like the ones that they kind of like flashed before us but didn't really talk about, or
no, like official announcements?
Oh, really? Okay.
But we just have yet to see. Like one of them I know off the top of my head is because it's a game I'm waiting for. It's Blade Strangers.
What's the
that's a game I've been.
The No More Heroes.
No More Heroes, yes.
Yeah. Travis Strikes Back,
that's
I believe.
his name. That's what I thought.
That's true. Yeah.
That's another one. I never played any of the other ones, so I have no idea what that's like.
Travis is a gigantic douchebag, but in a wonderful way.
Okay.
Like I would never want to be that man, but at the same time, I would hang out with him. And just be like, you know, dude, you're an asshole, but you're a lovable asshole.
Kind of like Stein.
I guess I'll need that list of games that we don't have on just yet. I'll have to see that, because I would be interested to see in which games we don't have any more information on.
But anyway, January presentation, they announced 1-2 Switch, ARMS, Splatoon 2, Mario Odyssey, Xenoblade 2, Fire Emblem Warriors, Shin Megami Tensei 5, Octopath Traveler, Skyrim, No More Heroes, and FIFA. And of all of those games, the only ones we're missing are Shin Megami Tensei, Octopath, and No More Heroes. Well, actually, I don't think FIFA came out, but still,
I think
that's pretty impressive for the first year.
Yeah, FIFA came out too, so yeah, they have all the things that they promised the first time.
Well, I don't really care about sports games, so I guess...
And no one cared about it. It wasn't
good. And Octopath was really early in development. We only really got that No More Heroes was in development. We got the trailer, like, later on in the Direct.
I think it was, like, in an Indies Direct.
I don't know what Shin Megami Tensei 5 is. I've heard of the series, but I don't think I've ever played it.
Yeah, you know what Persona is, right?
Yes.
It's like a sibling series to that.
Ah.
Like, it's based a little bit more on, like Japanese yokai, and like they'll be linked to a person's soul and stuff like that. I
Just
believe it's a very
JRPG.
similar fighting like combat system and stuff, but I've never really played it myself. I remember there was the Shin Megami Tensei Cross Fire Emblem that came out on the Wii U, and I always wanted to try that, but the lack of an English...
Tokyo Mirage Session?
Yeah, Sharp FE. And the lack of an English dub honestly really turned me off to it.
Really?
I don't know why. Something about it was just like, alright, they didn't want to put in the effort for this, why should I?
It was translated though, right? Like
it was translated. They didn't bring in any English voice actors, despite the fact they have like 5 English voice actors that do all of the voices in Fire Emblem games.
And even like the Fire Emblem people were speaking Japanese?
Yeah, well, I mean, it wasn't that there was like Shin Megami Tensei characters and Fire Emblem characters.
Okay.
It was like, it's hard to explain. I didn't really play the game much myself, so I couldn't really. But we're getting off topic a little bit. Yeah. Although that's going to be a running theme.
Yeah, we are.
Anyway. Crap. Yeah.
Lost page. Nerdieo, what do you got?
So I was actually looking for one of those trailers, or like one of those lists.
Yeah.
And it seems like another game we're missing that was announced in March is Pocket Rumble.
Oh yeah, I was talking about them before. They said that it was going to be March.
We are still missing Pocket Rumble.
They said March, then they said like April or May, then they said it was going to be pushed back till like the summer. Then they said fall. Then they said we're just not going to talk about it anymore, and that it's still coming.
Yeah, but as of recent, they have still said that they're dedicated to bring the game to Switch, but there has been no actual update. Nothing.
They said that they were having problems working on the multiplayer connectivity with the Switch. That was all that they gave us the first time they said that they couldn't get it out on time. and they still haven't said anything about like why, what's going on, when. They say they're working on it, and the game seems to be finished everywhere else, or at least basically finished. And no one knows why they're not releasing that. That's actually one that got me really upset, because I was waiting for that one for a while. That was going to be the first fighting game on the Switch that I got.
I was about to say, they're going to lose a couple of people because they lost being the first fighting game.
That was showcased in the Nindies event.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was going to be a good fighting game, since we had nothing else to go with yet. We didn't have
But
ARMS
now we
yet.
have Pokken Arms.
Pokken, ARMS, Street Fighter, if you want Street Fighter. We have all the Neo Geo games.
Oh my god, yeah.
Okay, we also have well, it's not out yet, but we have the SNK Heroines thing coming out.
Okay.
And
that game I'm really excited for.
I kind of figured you would be. Me and I am also very interested in it because I enjoy fighting games and cute girls, and that game has very much of both of those things.
We're also missing Dragon Ball Universe 2.
No, that game's out.
Yeah, no, like that's what I meant. It's a fighting game.
It's a
fighting game on the Switch.
Kind of. I mean, it's less of a fighting game than Pokken, like, because half of Pokken isn't a fighting game when you're in the field mode.
Really?
So it's basically like field mode Pokken nonstop.
Okay, well, Taru brought up Dragon Ball, and now I gotta ask: do you think Fighters is possible?
I think absolutely.
There's no way
absolutely possible.
There's no way it's not possible. It's
They're
entirely
kind of just keeping their cards in their hand for right now, I feel.
I know that they want to work on it. They've said that they would love to work on the Switch and get things on the Switch. And Fighters is definitely something to look at. But I mean, if you turn the settings on I have it on PC. If you turn the settings all the way down to the minimum, it looks like it runs on the fucking like DS or something like that. Like you can run it on anything. I think it's just a fighting game. It can't be that bad. Honestly.
Because this game really does not take a lot to run.
Not at all.
Like I believe it says like it only needs like 4 gigs of RAM. Like that's it.
Does it even take that much? Because I was gonna say that Xenoverse looks like it takes up more space than this game does. With the whole
the average game, like the average laptop nowadays, like not even a gaming laptop, just an average regular laptop comes with like 8 gigs nowadays of RAM.
Jeez.
And that's quite literally.
Yeah, no, I think that there's no way that it can't run on the Switch. It's really just a matter of if they're gonna do it, and they really should, because I mean, I don't know. I feel like it would be the perfect game for the Switch,
especially considering Xenoverse 2 on Switch outsold every other version.
Really? That is
really.
Yes, that's an
did
interesting
not know
factoid.
I didn't know that either. I am actually pretty.
For whatever reason, Xenoverse 2 came out on Switch, and people were just like, alright, we want that Dragon Ball FighterZ. Let's get that Dragon Ball Xenoverse on our Switches.
And people love Xenoverse just the same. Like it's not exactly the same kind of fighting game, but it is still a good game, especially for the customization you can do. So I mean, it's obvious. It's good that was on the Switch, but I feel like they should just get Fighters on here too.
That's a very definite highlight of the game. Like the customization, you can be your own race. You could take like any move that you can master. You can learn it and use it in other areas, and you can fight any character across multiverses and shit.
Not to mention, you could throw a Kamehameha with your hands with each Joy-Con.
Oh, does it have actually motion controls? I didn't know that.
That's cool.
It has those genuine motion controls.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
That's interesting. See, that's interesting. But no, there's no way Fighters shouldn't be on the Switch. It's just gonna have to be done at some point. As for whether it would do well on the Switch, I think it absolutely would do well on the Switch still. People do love Dragon Ball regardless of how old it is, and especially with Super being out right now.
And the fact that it would make it portable.
There's no better time to advertise it than when Super's still running.
Now, while we're talking about fighting games, I'd like to bring up ARMS, and I was a little disappointed by that game only because it didn't hook me.
Yeah, I agree.
Before ARMS, the only major game we had on there was Zelda, right?
Yeah,
that was it. So it was Zelda.
Yeah.
So it was
ARMS.
Zelda.
ARMS is the first ARMS is the first new IP for the Switch.
Yeah, and the
first one,
and the big first party IP since Zelda. ARMS, I still think it's a good game. It just didn't catch me the same way it did past the initial exposure of it.
It's definitely a very interesting concept. Sorry, you gonna say something?
Oh, I can get it after you. Go ahead.
Like, I really love the concept. I love the character designs. I love everything about it except playing it. I don't know why. There's just something about, like, being in the arena and, like, tilting the Joy-Con around trying to hit your opponent that's just like, yeah, this isn't fun.
And the button controls take out all the fun of it, too. But Nerdieo had something to say, so what's up with that?
I was going to say that it sucks because ARMS is, like... ARMS is how it is. It's almost like a game you can pick up, maybe play for, like, an hour at most. Maybe with a friend if you got them there. But of course, you'll need to buy a second pair of Joy-Cons. But my point being that they handle ARMS the way they should handle every single game. Because they're pumping ARMS with free updates, free characters, and they're pressing it on Nintendo Versus. It's like the main game they're pressing on that account. And people love that account, just not ARMS.
Yeah. Like, it's very strange. It had the same kind of appeal, the same kind of creative energy behind it as Splatoon did. They even backed it in the same way with, like, the free content, stages, characters, like, the same kind of situation. And I loved Splatoon the first time around, and then ARMS came around. I was thinking it was going to have the same kind of thing, and just didn't hook me.
I was hoping it was going to be the fighting game we were looking for when we dropped Smash, when we got rid of our Wii U, but it was... We played it for like that weekend, maybe a week or two afterwards, but then we kind of dropped off. I think put ARMS into storage on my Switch because I haven't been playing it at all because I needed the space. And I feel bad. I would love to get back into that game, but it's just, like Nerdieo said, it's not something you can play for hours on end like you can with Smash or something like that.
I think the big problem is that fighting games are very, very hard to market properly, and regardless of what fighting game it is, you can't keep people playing a fighting game for too long at a time. Even Dragon Ball FighterZ dropped off in player base immediately after the first few weeks of launch. It's just how fighting games are. So I mean, it was a good attempt and it was something fun, but I don't think it was ever really going to take off that well on the Switch at all. I think it was really just like a way to like
hold people off.
Yeah, some kind of hold people, put something new out there, something for the Switch since it's a new thing too, so show off the technical capabilities. I don't think they ever really planned for it to be that great though.
Yeah. One big thing it was missing though that would have got me on board a little bit more would be like some kind of story mode. If they had some kind of story mode where like they gave their characters a little bit more personality beyond like, oh, I'm a singer, I just want to be a boxer. Oh, this one's a movie star, shit like that. Then that would have kept me interested. Yeah.
So I was gonna say that's something that I feel like they got to that, but they got to it too late because now that all the characters are out, they've added a ton of lore. Like with the newest character, Dr. Coyle. She's actually like the main bad guy, but she's also the person who created the actual arms and things like that.
Okay.
Well, yeah, there's lore, but I wanted like story. They're kind of two different branches of the same tree. That is a weird metaphor that I just made up.
Like I said, I kind of feel like it was just thrown out there because this will work perfectly on the Switch.
Yeah.
But not that they necessarily put too much at stake behind it. If anything, I feel like they probably under budgeted that game. I feel like if they had wanted to make it bigger, they probably could have, or wanted to make it better, they could have. But honestly, it's a pretty basic game. None of the stages are really, that different, just like different shapes, and that's really about it. It could be worse with the stages, and the characters all have the same controls, nothing really specific there. I feel like it wasn't as in depth as everyone thought it might be at the very beginning when people saw it. And again, that's probably on purpose.
All right. I kept pulling from my notes. You got more stuff from your
notes?
No,
because we were going to go through the trailers first and all those things, and I figured we would move on from there to whatever's next on the docket.
Well, actually, after the January presentation, I wanted to move on to how we got our Switches, and I know you two both just pre-ordered, went there at midnight, and were like, all right, cool, we can play Breath of the Wild now, but
I
have a slightly more interesting story. I don't know about you, Nerdieo. You got an interesting story behind your Switch or not?
No, I think
I do, with one detail being like super dark, but I can't share it simply because it's way too personal. But basically that whole day was just a big freaking mess. Like I actually got to a Best Buy at maybe noon and started waiting there. And when I was dropped off by my brother-in-law, he was like, it seems like it's way too soon. Then I was like, no, it's not going to be, I promise you. He's like, are you sure? And I was like, yeah, I'll be fine. And I waited there from noon all the way until midnight. But the thing is, I'm happy I did, because the line started forming at around 12:30.
So you were basically first in line. Perfect.
That's great.
Wonderful.
Yeah, yep, I was the first in line, and I had to wait 12 hours for it. Exactly 12 hours.
I felt so bad when we got our Switches and we were tweeting about it, and you just had 3 more hours, and I was like, poor Nerdieo.
I remember that.
Yeah.
I feel bad for him. I didn't even get to pre-order one.
I don't think Nerdieo pre-ordered his.
No, he went.
No, I didn't. I didn't have the money to pre-order at the time.
Well, anyway, let me move on to my story. Of course, as I said, I did not pre-order my Switch. I was quite a fool. A week after the reveal, I go over to my local GameStop and I ask, "Hey, so there are any more pre-orders for Switch?" They just give me this look and say, "No, kid. There's no more pre-orders. We're not getting any more Switches in stock for a while." So, I just go on. I kept my Wii U because I am a smart man, and I decided to pre-order Breath of the Wild for the Wii U because, you know, it's coming to Wii U. I got a Wii U, might as well play it like that. About a month passes. My birthday's coming around. Just a few days before my birthday, Taru gives me a call. Well, actually, she texts me in all caps. "Do you have $300?"
Oh, yeah.
And I go, "Taru, why are you asking me if I have the specific amount of money required to buy a Nintendo Switch?" And she goes, "Come to my store right now, bring $300. We have one Nintendo Switch that was just returned."
Yeah, so I looked them up.
So I come downstairs, I look my mom in the eyes, and I say, "Mom, I need you to take me to Target within the next hour."
Yeah.
So at which point we drive to the bank, we drive to Target. My mom's tired as hell. But because it's close to my birthday, she did this one thing for me. I didn't get any other birthday presents for that year. That was all I got for my birthday, was my Nintendo Switch that I paid for myself.
Oh, God.
And I am eternally grateful to this blonde dork right here for that wonderful, wonderful moment.
Because if it wasn't going to be you, someone would have came in and be like, "Your site updated. It says you have one." And either way, I wasn't going to sell it to a guest, because I'd rather sell it to someone who cannot brag about, "Oh, I got a Switch at Target. Go see, they have Switches." I'm like, no.
I remember she was keeping tabs of every time they came into the store too, trying to just know exactly when they were going to be there, so she can let everyone know.
By the way, I was also able to play Breath of the Wild right away, not because it was at Target, but because a little bit before that, they had a shit ton of Breath of the Wild for Switches in stock, despite having no actual game systems to play them on. So I decided, I'm gonna have a Switch eventually, and bought myself a game for a system I did not have.
So remember when they were like, yeah, we sold like 10% the amount of Zeldas as Switches. Yeah, it's because of people like that just getting Zelda when they have no idea if they're gonna get a Switch or not. So we had for a little while, Zelda sold more than the Switch.
Technically, I knew I was going to get a Switch. The question was when.
It's always the question of when. See, I think we were. I guess we're the only ones here who had a pre-order. We watched that direct, and I was telling Mighty before, I'm not the kind of person who goes to sleep early or wakes up early at all, and she knows that all too well. I'm never up before noon if I can avoid it. We saw that Switch event. I was up the next morning at like 6 or 7. I don't know how the hell it happened, and I was like just on my way to GameStop before I even knew what was going on.
No, I remember how it happened, because I remember the story you told me. He got up, couldn't sleep probably, actually. He probably just like woke up out of nowhere and just could not fall back asleep. Pulls out his phone and decides to go on YouTube and watch the presentation. It's like, I don't know how long he was watching that video, but I don't know, maybe it was as soon as he pulled it up.
It was the treehouse the morning after.
The treehouse, the morning after the presentation. And then he heard them say, Switches are available for pre-order now. He ran upstairs to ask his stepdad to drive him to GameStop to pre-order both his gray Switch and my colored Switch under his stepdad's name because he couldn't pre-order 2 under his name.
And by the time she got home from work that day, they were out of pre-orders.
So I have him to thank for everything. He dropped $100 the day after the presentation to make sure we had our Switches.
Oh. And as Mighty said, he was smart in keeping his Wii U. We were broke, so we traded ours in for credit to put towards our Switches along with all of the games.
And then we've been smashless ever since, and I had to live through like 6 months with no Splatoon. I was so deprived.
Like, I can't bring my Wii U over here anymore because anytime I do, nothing gets done.
I was wondering why you didn't bring it today.
We set up my Wii U. I start playing Smash,
and then it never ends.
Taru looks at it. She goes, "I want to fight you." And then Stein looks at both of us playing, and he goes, "I want to fight you guys." And then before we know it, 5 hours have passed.
Yeah,
and that's a topic we should probably not touch on because we will be on there forever. Smash needs to be on Switch, and I think that's all we need to say about that, right, guys?
I was gonna say we're gonna save that. I was gonna say we save that for the end. Like once we've done all of our topics, we could go into our speculation for Smash for Switch because I'm sure all 4 of us absolutely need that to be a thing in our lives.
I think that needs to be another stream in and of itself, probably. We're at an hour and we're just getting through the trailer section of our discussion.
Are we seriously gonna have another discussion just so we could speculate about Smash for Switch?
Well, let's see how far we can get before that. If nothing else, that one deserves its own stream. But if we can fit that in towards the end, because we all have so many things to say about that, and we all have. But at the same time, we have nothing to say about it. We just need it on Switch.
I will just throw a couple things out there. Number 1, needs a single player mode. Adventure mode, I would like it.
Still talking about ARMS, right?
No. Smash for Switch.
Oh, Smash. Okay.
I want adventure mode, preferably like Subspace Emissary. Give me some fucking cutscenes. I want character interactions. Number 2, this one's a bit more minor. Let every character wall jump. Every character could wall jump in Melee. Every character could
Okay, we're gonna get off of this one because we gotta bring that for later on. Because we have other things to talk about. So what else is going on with the trailers, right? Any other trailers of note that you want to talk about, or Nerdieo?
Any other games that we need to make note of that hasn't come out yet?
Go ahead first, buddy.
I'm actually not sure of any right now. I'm trying to think of games that they've announced have not
that we haven't covered yet.
Alright, well, I got the list of games from E3 2017, so let me list them off for you.
I feel like the only one from E3 would be Metroid.
Of course,
well, we also have the Mario RPG. Well, Kirby Star Allies hasn't come out yet. Yoshi hasn't come out yet. And there was also the unnamed Pokemon RPG.
Am I the only one who feels like they throw Kirby and Yoshi games on when they just need a filler for a little while? Like I feel like that's what most of the Kirby and Yoshi games are.
To be fair, Kirby games are pretty high quality.
Oh no, I know the Kirby games.
Even the Yoshi games are. I know what you mean.
But they definitely feel like lower production value, like middle of the road games that they throw in there.
It's not up there with like Mario and Zelda,
which is sad.
Definitely. I mean.
Kirby will
always. Kirby doesn't really need to be up there. Like he has his own dedicated fan base where it's just like it's an adorable game. It's it's bright and cheery. I know I'm gonna pick it up absolutely.
Oh my god, I can't wait! It's 2 weeks.
Oh god,
2 weeks until Star Allies. I want to make all the friends. I want to throw my heart at their face and
That's
make
the wrong
friends.
Game. You said hat. You're gonna throw your heart.
No,
at them.
that's what I meant. I said heart.
She said heart.
She has a weird accent.
Even Nerdieo understood it.
Alright, anyway.
Apparently, you know me the longest, but you understand me the best.
So I have
muffly ass headphones on.
I have a small list of games that are announced as coming soon. Actually, no, wait. Where's the other list? This is the list of games that. Yeah, this is the list of games that are supposed to be coming soon. Nothing here really even. Oh.
You okay, Nerdieo?
Do we need to call 911?
I don't think we can call 911 for over in California.
Life alert.
I've fallen down and I can't get up.
Oh, I think he muted himself. Okay. Well, he'll be back in a second.
I hope he laughs at those things.
I'm sure he'll be back in a second. But yeah, I don't know if this is Like Metroid isn't even on here. Is there a reason for that?
Probably because I'm not sure. I mean,
this is less of like all the eShop games.
Hardly even has a full name yet, and it's not supposed to come out.
Oh, here we go.
year.
Here's a Switch games coming soon. Is it on here? No, it's not. Here, estimated games. Wow, there's a lot. There's no more here. See, it's probably on here. We got Pikmin on here. Harvest Moon's on here. There's a lot of random stuff on here, honestly.
I don't even know if all of these are actually coming.
Bendy and the Ink Machine is listed on here. Like, there's a lot of random stuff just kind of added on.
By
here.
the way,
there's
I'm both excited and very pissed off that Hyrule Warriors is coming to Switch as a definitive edition because I bought it on the Wii U, I bought it on the 3DS, and now my dumbass is gonna buy it on the Nintendo Switch.
Of course you are.
But
at least it's
I bought it on
right?
both systems. I bought all of the DLC. I've played through way too many hours of that damn hack and slash, and now I'm gonna waste even more hours of my life in Hyrule cutting up all of the nonsense.
Well, hey, what's the return value on those 2 cartridges? Because you probably get a decent little bit back from it.
Which one do you like more, though? Fire Emblem Warriors or Hyrule Warriors? Because I'm pretty sure you have both.
I had Hyrule Warriors. I traded it in, but personally, I mean, it kind of comes down to preference. First of all, I like Legend of Zelda more than I like Fire Emblem.
Okay.
Fair enough.
And secondly, Hyrule Warriors. Hyrule Warriors lacked in strategy. Fire Emblem Warriors kind of lacks in variety. Because, like, you had all kinds of different characters from all across the Zelda lore. Some of them were even, created specifically for Hyrule Warriors. And each of them played differently. Some of them even had different weapons, which made them play differently. But, and then you jump over to Fire Emblem Warriors, and characters are, like, copied from each other. They'll have the similar movesets. Like, for some characters it makes sense, because the 2 main characters, they're twins. It kind of makes sense that they have identical attacks. But at the same time, there's Chrom and Lucina. Chrom taught Lucina how to fight. Of course she fights like him.
That makes sense.
But then there's other characters who come from completely different games, and they'll fight exactly like each other. And you're just like, why are these characters carbon copies? And, like, all of the sword fighters kind of fight the same. All of the spear fighters kind of fight the same. There's 3 Pegasus Knights. All 3 of them fight completely identical to each other, excluding their like special attacks.
Now, is that Nintendo, or is that the company that makes Dynasty War, like all the other Warriors games? Usually?
Yeah, Bandai Namco.
It is Bandai Namco, and that's really sad though, because some of the Warriors games have hundreds of characters that play uniquely. They could have reskinned any of them and just put Zelda over them.
I understand what they were going for, because, like, the focus of Fire Emblem is obviously more strategy oriented, so you can focus a little bit more on, like, your strategy and picking a diverse team and going into it, and not having to worry too much about remembering certain like movesets and what this character does and what that character does, and more you can focus on, like, okay, I want the sword fight over here, I want the spear fight over here, and the axe fighter over here, and stuff like that. But at the same time, personal preference just dictates that, I didn't really care for the copy-paste nature of it. Especially for the fact that, like, the DLC characters, some of the DLC characters have the same movesets of characters that are already in the game.
Really?
And that really lights my fuse.
That is a problem that should not be happening in a Warriors game. Like I said, there are so many characters in some of these games that have unique movesets.
Although,
they could have easily just at least taken those.
On the other side of that coin, included with that same DLC is, like, you get more supports. So, there's full voice acting for all of the supports. And you also get 3 adventure maps per pack. So, all of the adventure maps have, like, hours upon hours of shit to do in them. So, like, if you're basing your money you paid on that, then it's more understandable. But, it really just irks me a little bit that they just copy-pasted some of the characters. Like, a couple of them are unique, but at the same time, they're the ones that are copy-pasted, those stand out in my mind. And it really bugs me.
Okay, well, that's a problem with that specific game. I do want to try and change the discussion a little bit more, unless anyone else has anything specific about certain games they want to bring up now. So I do want to turn it towards the hardware of the Switch itself, just in terms of how it's held up for each of us, because I do have concerns about the hardware.
Well, my notes are pretty much through. I just want to touch on Metroid Prime 4 in a little bit. I know you guys aren't. I don't know if you guys are really into the Metroid or.
I never played a Metroid game, so it's one of the things that I'm sure if I pick it up, I'll love it.
Other than the
I just don't never
We'll go
like
into that
it.
later.
Other than the classic side-scrolling Metros, I never really picked them up. But yeah, how about you, Nerdieo? Is there anything else you want to say before?
If he's even back, you're Nerdieo.
You should be back, right?
I am back. I am back.
Alright.
I just didn't hear you come back.
Like, is there anything about any specific
just
games?
got back.
Yeah, are there anything about any specific games that you want to talk about before we get any games that have been released so far?
Any games that have been released? Yes!
Like, yeah.
Oh my god. Alright, I don't know if you guys have played this game. I don't know if you guys ever planned on picking this game up. I don't know if you guys even thought it was interesting. Can I talk about how trash Xenoblade 2 is?
Trash?
Is it
Oh my
trash?
God, are you
That
serious?
game is...
Please do talk about it. I want to
Can I-
hear how it's trash
But
from
before-
you.
That
Before-
game is garbage!
Before you
Oh
talk-
my god.
Wow.
Before you talk about
we've
trash,
got
I have to ask, because you remember when I played Xenoverse
Xenoblade Chronicles X.
Xenoblade X on the Wii U, and we did that whole stream for a while. You remember that?
Oh, that was.
Yes, I do. Oh man, shout out to Disco Deer. Bless
Disco
up.
Deer,
Disco
yeah.
Deer. I was about to say Disco Deer.
But I had problems with Xenoblade. I don't like the combat system. Tell me how much is it like Xenoblade Chronicles X, or even like the original Xenoblade, because I don't like the whole thing where they can attack you and then you can run a fucking mile away and they're still hitting you.
Yeah.
Yeah, that does.
That bothers me.
That still exists, but I can tell you there are a lot less quick time events than X. Because remember when X, like even your basic attacks were, like in X, like all your basic attacks were, like almost all of them were QTEs. So those are gone. That's a little bit better, but I mean that just means that there's a lot less interaction in the combat. Like I remember I stepped away from a fight for 15 minutes, and the fight still went on. I didn't pick up the controller, and I still won.
Oh, God.
I still won from putting the control. And okay, that's a lot of laziness. All right, when the game plays itself, that is when I have to put my foot down.
That's my problem. Is that you select to attack, your guy just sits there auto attacking. You can walk around and keep auto attacking and press a button to do a skill. I didn't feel like it was such a great battle system.
Let me ask for a second. Did either of you play the first Xenoblade Chronicles?
I played a little bit of the first.
I did.
Okay.
I did.
And I had the same problem.
I played the first. I played the first game, and I've played X, and I'm currently playing 2, and it's garbage. It's the worst in the...
So
here's another thing.
Xenoblade veteran here that says Xenoblade 2.
Here's another thing. The game introduces a gotcha mechanic.
I already asked you on.
I
forgot.
Hated that. Because here's the thing.
Hold on.
There was.
Hold on. I got to explain to her what gotcha is. Give me a second. You play Fire Emblem
Go ahead.
Heroes, right?
Of course. Yes. No.
Fire Emblem.
No,
okay,
actually.
no Fire Emblem Heroes.
It's basically like buying a loot box.
Oh.
Yes.
It's buying a loot box.
There's certain characters you can obtain. They're called blades. Like it's like rolling for weapons, except these weapons are people.
Yeah, that's how that
works. There
works.
are rare blades, there are like normal blades and stuff like that, and you have to grind and grind for materials in order for you to roll for a chance to get certain things. So yeah, I understand entirely
So it doesn't
what
cost
he's talking
real
about.
money, it just takes hours of time to do it.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. You may think, alright, you know what, I'll just put in the hours, right? I'll put in the hours, that's fine. Here's the thing. They recently data mined all the chances for every single character.
No.
The actual good blades, like the not generic ones, are less than 2%.
Oh,
Jesus.
wow.
Here, it gets worse. It gets worse. Okay, so without telling you, there are 5 different kinds of save files that you can have.
Wait, there are what?
There are 5 different kinds of save files that you can have.
Okay.
And the only thing that's different about these save files are your chances to pull the blades. That's it. Nothing with the story, nothing with the characters. It's just 5 different kinds of save files that the game randomly gives you that have different chances. and there is only one. There is only one save file.
You know what?
And it's like.
This makes me really happy I wasn't excited and sitting there waiting for that game to come out. That when I saw that game in the trailer, I was like, I don't give a shit.
Man, I wanted to get into Xenoblade Chronicles, man. Like, it looked like such a great series, but now hearing this, I don't think I'm dipping into that
I think
shit.
that's the problem.
Okay,
it looks so good.
I think the problem is they focus all on the story and the graphics and everything, that they don't even pay attention to the combat system and what you're doing in the game.
That's exactly it. The only reason I play this game is the story. Like if I had an option to just unlock all the cutscenes right from the get-go, I would. I would, hands down.
Yeah, I could I could not enjoy the combat system in that game at all.
And
I mean,
he
at least
loved
in
the
X.
story. He really loved the story of X, but he could not get through it.
I really loved X. I did. I liked
yeah.
X.
Okay.
I liked the first game, and I love 2 so much. But it's the worst game ever on the Switch. It's okay. I wouldn't say it's the worst game on the Switch, but it's down there.
It's down there.
Down
okay.
there.
All right,
That's a little disappointing.
Before
I
you
was
go on
actually
another
hoping it
rant
was
about
better.
how shit this game is, let's move to another topic.
So what I wanted to talk about after we got those out of our systems is let's start with Nerdieo on this one actually. Do you have any concerns about the hardware itself for the Switch? Now having it after a year?
Hardware itself.
Like the actual
I'm more
console.
concerned. I'm honestly quite happy with. Okay, every developer we have working on it so far, I am so glad that they're like taking the console to its fullest. Like absolutely. But my problem is that there's not enough developers taking it to its fullest. And so I feel like that there's just too much hidden potential with this console that people literally just think it's like, same power as an iPad, and then they look away.
Yeah.
No,
It's much more than that. It has so much more power than that. It really does.
I would have said if this thing can run Zelda, it can run anything. But if it can run Doom like the way it does, I mean, there's so many games you can point to on the Switch.
Doom, you can barely even notice is like running at 30.
If there's a problem with a game's graphical capabilities not working on the Switch, it means the developers need to work better at optimizing it, because that's a problem with the game itself, not with the Switch at that point.
I do want to say, if it weren't for Doom coming to Switch, I don't think I ever would have touched a game like that.
Nope.
I'm not really a big shooter guy, but I am damn glad I picked up Doom from Nintendo Switch, because
it's so fun.
The feeling you get from ripping a demon's head off and then feeding him his own entrails. Oh!
Like, even I didn't want to pick that game up, but I was like, it looks too good to not
I'm
pick
not
it
a
up.
gun guy, but every time I see a gun across the room in that game, I make one of 2 sounds. Oh, or...
Because you get to blow shit
There's
out.
no other game that's done that kind of thing to me.
Oh,
So yeah, let's continue with the hardware.
So when talking about the hardware, I think that in terms of in terms of that stuff, I think it's actually no problem with running games. It really is up to the developers to work around the limitations it does have. I'm more worried about the Joy-Cons specifically. Me and Taru both have the exact same problem with our Joy-Cons, where the button that you press to release them from the Switch itself, the piece is like worn out. The plastic is worn out, so both of our left Joy-Cons actually can just slide out without anything happening, really, when we're holding
if you give just enough pressure without even pressing the button. Left.
Yeah, let me, here.
I do gotta ask, though, do you guys have any newer Joy-Cons?
No, these are yours is.
Well, the one that I got, that was the other problem, is that the one that I got when I first got the Switch had this problem.
Gonna spit out my gum.
When I first got my Switch, it actually had a problem where my left Joy-Con wouldn't stay snapped in, and I couldn't tell why. So I wound up getting that replaced right away, basically.
And now it's happening again to a second set. Mine only started doing it after a while, and mine's the original Joy-Cons that I got with my Switch. It only started doing it about maybe a couple of months ago, and his started doing it maybe within the 6-month span of him getting it.
Yeah, so I was wondering if you have any problem with that at all.
Me, no, but that's because I don't use, when I do use my original Joy-Cons, but it's because I'm a huge collector of them. So I actually have all the colors except for the Odyssey Dark Red.
Oh, okay.
Oh my god, I'm angry, Nerdieo, because I really want another set of,
And
I want the Splatoon set and another set of the colored. So I can make it all red and all blue.
That is one thing that's gonna freaking end me. They're gonna release a set of Joy-Con colors that I cannot deny.
I already can't deny them.
I've been avoiding them. I've been avoiding those Joy-Con colors. I saw the Splatoon ones. I'm like, it's not that good a color. I saw the ARMS one. I was like, I don't really care for yellow. But at some point, they're gonna release some hot red, some cherry red Joy-Con, and I'm gonna be like, oh.
And that's like the Odyssey. The Odyssey are like the dark red. I like that.
I saw those.
I love that color so much.
It's not the same color as the neon?
No,
no, it's like Mario's hat.
It's like a genuine red.
That's nice.
Apparently, though, the only way you could get that was like in the Mario Odyssey bundle SKU.
Yeah.
And that's the only reason I don't have red Joy-Con on this day.
You can get them. You can get them imported on Amazon.
Okay.
For like $10 more.
Okay.
That makes sense because probably they probably have all the colors in Japan available to buy anytime, anywhere. Knowing Japan.
Yeah, like that's the one set I don't have, and the reason why I bring that up isn't to show off. It's because I was gonna say that it could be that the fact that your Joy-Cons are older because the newer Joy-Cons I have, my newest are being the ARMS yellow and the Splatoon colors, those don't have that problem.
They don't.
They don't have it at all.
But have you ever had that problem with yours?
I feel like, with my gray ones, the gray ones are just like super clunky when they first came out. Okay. The Joy-Cons are just super clunky. Okay. But so I feel like,
Yeah, our Joy-Cons, like, they stay on the Switch just fine, but like the littlest bit of pressure at the bottom of the Joy-Con will slide it right out of our system now.
That's a problem.
Yeah,
that's a problem.
That's even just the Joy-Con.
I didn't have.
That's just the Joy-Con. I'm sure if I took his Joy-Con and put it on my Switch, it would just be my Joy-Con. So it's not even the biggest problem at all. Especially since I usually use the Pro Controller.
I think the point is that the Joy-Cons are the most fragile part of the system. Like it's pretty much been proven that they're on the side. That's probably where the Switch is gonna hit if it does fall. And I just want to bring it up because someone did it. They dropped the Switch from 1,000 feet. And apparently it turned on like 2 weeks afterwards, just a little bit. All cracked up and all messed up, but the Joy-Cons were wrecked.
The Joy-Con took the full hit of that fall.
Yeah. Because it's really the Joy... Every time I saw the Switch, I'm just like, do you have to be careful? I was like, the screen itself, the console itself is durable, but you gotta watch those controllers. There's a lot of technology in a tiny little controller.
Yeah, it really is important that they really make these as durable as they possibly can while keeping their price range because the Joy-Cons are what keep the main gimmick of it being a portable console. Like these things are the absolute main gimmick of it, other than the console itself.
Now what about the screen? Did anyone have any of that dock scratching the screen thing that some people said that they had?
See,
I feel like mine. I feel like mine may have that problem, but I got a screen protector so soon, I don't know if it does.
Yeah,
as of right now, mine isn't. I basically just protected it before there were any chances of me finding out.
immediately as possible, I got myself one of those glass screen protectors because I didn't want to take chances with that shit.
See,
I haven't had any scratching issues, but like at the same time, I don't really like jam it in there or anything. I just like, slide it every now and again, drop it, and I make sure to like angle it back a little bit, of course, as well.
You see, I actually did get one of those scratches on my screen, but it wasn't even on the screen. It's like on the border, on the edge of the screen, so it wasn't even a problem. But I mean,
that black edge border.
Yeah, because if you look inside the Switch, that's where those two little pieces. They're not like rubber inside holding it in place. It's like two little strips of plastic. So that's probably where everyone's getting that scratch from if they put it in the wrong angle, if they're not careful enough with it.
We actually started using paper.
Weird design,
it shouldn't
have like strips of plastic.
It shouldn't be hard
having felt on them or anything.
It shouldn't be hard plastic on there, but that's just what they did with it for some reason.
Anyway, and before we veer away too far from this, like the Joy-Con, I wish they were a bit more symmetrical. Cause like, you see how
I do agree.
Yeah, like. I put air quotes around symmetrical a little bit because I mean obviously I don't want the like both of the sticks on the bottom or anything like that. That's not what I mean. I wish like the buttons and the sticks were a bit more centered on each of them, because like if you hand someone one of the Joy-Con, they're either going to be moving their thumbs all the way to the right or all the way to the left, depending on which one you have. And that's one major design flaw with like handing someone a Joy-Con.
I mean, I think regardless, the Joy-Cons, like they work well for what they are, but I feel like they could have been designed better in general. But they, for limitations of the space, they had to go that way. I feel like regardless, unless you put a separate grip on the Joy-Cons, they're not going to work out too well in one Joy-Con mode. I feel like it's never going to be a good enough idea.
Yeah.
Even if they try to fix the centering and the spacing of those buttons, I feel like it's still going to be the problem of it being too small. Those ZL and ZR buttons are impossible to press without like the strap on it.
I mean,
for me, I can't get those buttons properly without like comfortably while I'm holding the rest of it without the strap on to give me the nice
really
big
played
button.
Enough to say so, but yeah.
Yeah, that was a problem that I had. I mean, any other kind of grip.
I did. Yeah, it was like absolutely needed that they absolutely like made sure that all of their games that you hold the Joy-Con sideways, that they disabled the bumper buttons, the bumper and triggers.
Yeah.
That was important.
Although it's funny, if you play Binding of Isaac, and you go into your control settings, you can actually take the Joy-Con out into one Joy-Con mode, use both of those SL and SR buttons, and use the trigger from that side, the trigger and bumper from the side of the Joy-Con you're using. Like, even though they're like sideways in the palm of your hand, you can still actually map all those buttons at once.
That's interesting.
Which is what I thought. I thought ARMS was going to be a bit more in-depth with the buttons you can press.
Yeah.
I thought they were going to make use of the buttons on the inside of each finger and then the shoulder buttons and all that, but they don't use it as well as they could have.
They added the controller settings, right?
Yeah, they added controller settings, but there's still not enough buttons to really make use of it. But I could have seen like some kind of specials being on ARMS, being on the SL and SR buttons.
One thing I want to ask, does anyone actually have any issues with like the D-pad being separate buttons? Because I don't really mind it that much. I've heard a bunch of people complaining that like they wish their D-pad was like the cross shape again, and I'm like, I like this better. I prefer this, honestly.
There is only one problem, and that's going to be fighting games. Except for Smash.
Yeah.
which is fine anyway.
That being said, I mean, most of the time the D-pad is just for taunts anyway, so it doesn't matter that much.
Well, but I'm saying that's why Smash is the only game that's not going to matter. But for most fighting games, you can use the stick, but I know a lot of people like using the D-pad for their fighting game inputs, and I feel like doing Hadouken style things aren't going to be as good with the Joy-Cons.
That's going to be a problem with
I can't say I do have Ultra Street Fighter 2, and I'm really surprised with how well it works.
So
like it does have that. It does have like the comfort problem, but besides that, they've made it work. Like I feel like they got it as best as they possibly could.
Yeah. That being said, I don't think any like self-respecting fighting game player is going to be using Joy-Con to actually play a fighting game.
True.
Yeah, but
I am. I will enter every tournament with just one Joy-Con. It's funny because
Nerdieo.
I entered a Pokken DX tournament, and it never went through because there weren't enough players that showed up. But I actually entered with just my left Joy-Con, and they allowed it. They actually allowed it. I was really surprised.
That's funny.
Well, Pokken is a little bit different, but still, that is ridiculous.
And even with the Joy-Con problem with the multiple buttons, you could just get a Pro Controller. It still has the cross.
The Pro Controller.
Oh yes, he bought it for me.
I think if anything, the bigger problem, and it's not even a big problem, is the triggers. I know it's not the biggest deal that they're digital. What are they? The digital now,
digital,
right?
Yeah, analog would be you press it all the way in.
But I feel like not having analog there, like would. I feel like it would be a good idea to have the analog there just in case the game wanted to use it.
Now, here's one of the things, one of the compromises about that. Like, the only game I really know that uses the analog anyway would be like Super Mario Sunshine, and they use it so you could like press it all the way in, and then you could like point you could point FLUDD in any direction,
and then pull it.
You could just shake the Joy-Con for that. You could just shake the Joy-Con.
I'd
It's like an extra button.
For anything that would let me for anything where I have the option to shake, I'd rather press a button in general. I only dealt with it in ARMS because you had the control over the different directions. But for any case where I have the option to shake the controller in a game that requires timing and reflexes, I'd rather have a button to press.
Yeah, I mean, I'm bringing up Super Mario Sunshine obviously because it's the only like example I know, but you know, in a game like that, it wouldn't really matter.
It's only a problem for certain shooters or certain styles of shooters and for racing games. I just think that certain shooters could benefit from that. But what were you saying?
I was gonna say that as an alternative to like Mighty situation for like GameCube games that did use that analog, because like I know that Melee also uses it. Like you have a light shield and then you have the normal shield.
That's what I was thinking of too, but they didn't translate.
I was gonna say that. Since those games don't have a left bumper, only the Z button, you can maybe hold down the left bumper to trigger analog controls on your trigger.
That would be interesting too. But again, you wouldn't be able to though because they just don't have analog built into them.
And that being said, all this is a completely moot point because now the GameCube adapter works on the Switch anyway.
Really?
It does. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, that is true. Yep, they read as Pro controllers.
It just adapts it as like a wired controller. Although you can't play it in most games where, like in some games where it uses all the buttons because Z doesn't work as a button and there's no ZR and ZL.
Yeah, but even still, even not having analog triggers, it's still not even the biggest problem. There are plenty, like we already said, there are plenty of ways to work around it. So it's just something I think would have been nice to have. Don't need it either.
All right.
Same thing as the D-pad. It would have been nice to have, but it doesn't seem to be that big of a deal breaker in the end. Just yet.
Alright. Moving away from the Joy-Con for a sec. Well, we're kind of still on the Joy-Con, but at the same time...
We're on hardware in general.
I want to talk about
hardware in general.
The share button or record button, whatever one would
Okay.
call it. I absolutely love it. How about everyone else?
I haven't used it as much as I wish I have. Because I always forget it's there, and I just kind of remember it when I see something nice. I'm like, oh wait, I can take a picture of this.
Like
Stein abused it in Breath of the Wild. He
and
got
never
to
touched
1,000.
it again. I maxed out my screenshots on Zelda and then like never used it for any other game.
What about your screenshots from Gungeon? I've seen you taking some.
Yeah, I do that. I did that because I was doing that whole like tweeting a whole Gungeon run, and I'll do random things. But like in Zelda, I was like consistently pressing that button for everything. I would walk a few steps, turn the camera, take a picture, turn the camera, take a picture, walk down the hill, take a couple pictures. Like that was like my entire playthrough.
I was less about like the beauty of Breath of the Wild. Don't get me wrong, that is a fucking beautiful game. I'll sit there and just look off to the distance, and be like, holy shit, I can see the desert from this mountain. But anytime I do something cool, I immediately hit that record button. I'm just like, I'm gonna watch that so many times and be like, I'm not as terrible as a gamer as I think I am.
Watching that video of you crashing the motorcycle was really funny.
I took way too many videos of me just doing random shit on the freaking motorbike. Also, the fact that there's a motorbike in Breath of the Wild, thank you, Aonuma. I love you. I love that.
There is something I did want to like ask you guys about with the recording feature, like the video. So they've already talked about extending the time, but in general, did you guys even have a problem with it being 30 seconds?
Most of the time, no, because like, as long as you think of it fast enough, like it'll normally get the brief amount of time that like a weird thing happened or a cool thing happened or whatever you want to record. But at the same time, like, you know, that can only be benefited by making it like 45 seconds or a minute or like 2 minutes or so, or whatever the Switch could handle.
I also want them to extend it to not just Nintendo first parties. I want them to give it to other third-party people because I want to be able to record on any of my games.
Yeah, that has to be built into the OS itself. That shouldn't be linked to certain games. That has to be built into the OS itself.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah, I think there's only.
I'm in the same boat. I think it would be good to have it extend for longer, maybe a minute or two if you wanted. It's not necessary either because for the most part it will be enough to capture, but I'm sure it would be useful at certain points. You know, especially if you don't have a capture card, you're not sitting there recording your play like most people aren't sitting there just recording on an Elgato or something like that. So it would be nice for those people to have more moments to share. But then you get into the
Although,
then you get into the territory of uploading so much content that you start getting like flagged if you start like uploading that.
Though I do enjoy posting my videos to Twitter, rip Miiverse, may you never be forgotten. I honestly really wish there was some kind of Miiverse for the Switch. It was a beautiful mess, but my God.
Yeah, I think
we
it's
got some wonderful memes.
Yeah, but it's because
bullshit.
it was beautiful. It's because it's a beautiful mess that they didn't put it back on. they took it down because they know they know exactly what Miiverse was, and they couldn't have that happening again.
It was,
I mean, just Splatoon. Like, Splatoon
I know. I'm glad they specifically
already
had.
going crazy
They
with
specifically
Miiverse.
had to make a thing for Splatoon because it would have felt like empty without it.
Yeah.
Like without people posting drawings of Squidward and shit in the freaking plaza.
I love
I swear to God, every time you go on that plaza, there is one drawing of Squidward somewhere.
You know, I think you're right, because I think I usually see a Squidward every single time I'm on there. Oh.
My God. Anyway.
Okay, so what else were we talking about? Anything else?
We're still on the hardware.
Oh, there is one more thing.
Okay.
That I have on my side for hardware. Did you guys see? This was confirmed fake, but did you guys see the 5.0 Switch?
The 5.0 Switch what?
The 5.0 update Switch leak.
Oh no, I didn't see anything about that.
Excuse me.
It was later
God,
confirmed
throat.
fake, but
Okay.
there were a ton of features that it seemed, of course,
I
it
think I
seemed
might
too
know
good
what
to be
you're
true.
talking about.
It seemed way too good to be true, but people all considered it and thought about the features and stuff like that and how possible they would be.
Let's see what it had.
Yeah, okay, I saw that.
Oh, yeah, I've seen
They had a
that.
ton.
No.
They had
I've
a
seen
ton
it.
of things
It had like
you were
themes
able
and
to
the Hulu and shit.
No, yeah, that.
Yeah, and then you were able to make like parties like similar to how they are in like PlayStation
Yeah,
Network
okay.
I saw
and
that. I
online
saw
and things like
before.
that.
Yeah,
I feel like
it
I feel
was
like
one of those things where it was too good to be true. At the same time, you know, you could be helpful for it.
I didn't believe it.
I do.
I
wanna
didn't
touch
believe
on
it once
games in
they
a little
said that
bit.
you didn't need the phone.
Yeah. Once once you get to that point, it's like, no, obviously they're not gonna go that. They're not gonna create an app just so they could abandon the app.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Although, that being said, I
Actually-
actually do kind of like some of the uses of the companion app. Because, like, you don't just use it to make group parties and stuff. Like, that's one of the features of it. But, like, there's the Splatoon hub where you could, like, check up on what stages are coming. You could order special gear and stuff like that. I was doubtful.
Yeah, and that gear is exclusive to the app, by the way.
I
Yeah.
have
That
not
gear
used it
has
enough.
exclusive things to the app.
I think that was probably the coolest feature that we have.
Yeah,
on
I
the-
was doubtful of it at first, but like seeing stuff like that, I'm actually really excited to see what else they do with like online games like that. Cause like imagine you could I have a hard time coming up with possibilities, but you know, cool stuff, online games.
A possibility is being able to talk during a match of Smash. Rather than just picking your character. I feel like while it doesn't open it a lot, it does open the door quite a handful for online games like that.
They do have to flesh that out, and we'll get into that in a bit when we start talking about what we want for the online later, because I do have a section for that we should talk about. There are a few good things about the app, and Splatoon I think is the only game. Isn't it like the only game that's really even using it for the most part?
Is it ARMS at all?
Does ARMS have anything?
Yeah, it is the only game that the app is used
Splatoon's
for.
the only game so far.
Which that right there is the problem, is that we don't have enough good online games to really take use of the app, which is why we need more things to come out.
So, we still talking the hardware, or
If anyone else has anything about the hardware they want to say, reviewing it, or any thoughts about
No,
it.
like I said, the Switch update leak was the last thing I had on for me.
Other than slight concerns over it lighting on fire in the early weeks, not much.
Switches were lit on fire? What?
Well, I mean, there were concerns that it would. Have you ever touched your like in the first month, if you were playing like Breath of the Wild or something of that sort, and then you had your dock and your Switch in the dock for a while, if you were to like touch it, it would basically burn your hand. That shit was.
It would get a little.
But there is that. But have you guys seen the videos where people genuinely try to overheat their Switch?
I haven't seen the videos of people doing that, but it doesn't surprise me either.
Yeah, I don't understand what is the point of that shit. Are you trying to... Go ahead.
It's silly that they do that. I do highly agree. But the Switch can take quite a lot of heat.
Good.
I think I do notice that.
And not only that, but it also has a safety feature. Well, it'll turn itself off if it ever enters a dangerous temperature.
Okay, so it actually will. Good.
So mine's never actually reached that because I've left my Switch. I guess it turned on like in the case, and it was in the case for like maybe an hour or so, just on. And I think I got a fan problem from it because I can hear my fan.
Your fan's a bit louder now lately.
A little louder now since that happened.
Well, I mean, if it's in the case, it's not going to heat up that much because
that actually is that's actually a feature that they have if you're playing higher end games on handheld mode.
Okay, good.
Like if you slide it into the dock in like 2 or 3 minutes, that fan will immediately just cool down.
Yeah.
The dock will like take care of the rest.
I love hearing the fan kick into high gear when you like pull it out of the dock for a second. It's like trying to like reset itself.
Exactly.
It's really on a game-to-game basis, but every now and again, like, if I'm in a game that has a lot of shit going on, like specifically Fire Emblem Warriors, it happened a couple of times where there were just way too many enemies on screen. I would just get booted to the home menu. And, like
an error has occurred?
Yeah, that doesn't happen very often, but at the same time, I hope that people will take, like, companies will take the time to optimize shit like that. Because that's irritating when you're like in the middle of a match or something, and the Switch is like, nope, can't do it. We go back, buddy.
It is a bit weird. I remember wondering, like a lot of games, like sometimes a lot of my games would just like randomly bring me to the main menu. Errors occurred, it just closes the software, and I feel like that shouldn't be happening. I'm not sure if it's the Switch itself or the people who like coded the game. Something went wrong that it's running on the Switch. I don't know. It just happens for. I like to say it's happened at least once for almost all my games.
I don't recall. I think maybe Breath of the Wild, but only once. I remember it only happening once, but I think it was in a pretty dense area.
I know it's happened a lot in Gungeon.
Yeah, I think it's happened maybe once or twice in Gungeon, but that's the only game I can think of that's done that to me.
I think it's done on
I was gonna say that Gungeon was the only game I ever had that problem with.
Well, you know, I guess since we're basically good with the hardware section of it, we can talk about games, and there is. Like, relating to Gungeon specifically, some things, like, because it falls back into the topic of developers really optimizing their games. Because, like, so you've played Gungeon on the Switch, right? You both have
Everyone's
now.
played
And
it's highly owed to you, Stein and Taru, that I own Gungeon on the Switch.
And it's all owed to him, because he got me into it.
I curse them every single time I look at my playtime, and it's over 100 hours.
Really?
So I know for a fact that Mighty...
It might actually be over that. Give me a second, I'm going to check.
Yeah, go ahead. You can check that. So I know for a fact Mighty doesn't have it on the PC or any other console. How about you, Nerdieo? Do you have it on anything else or just the Switch?
I've played it before on PC, but I only own it on Switch. This is the first time I've ever owned it.
And you've played a decent amount of it, you'd say, right?
I believe I have 15 hours logged into it.
Okay, that's not bad though. So now coming from the PC, I can feel the difference playing this game on the Switch. How does it feel to you guys?
Well, I mean,
to me, I feel like I only feel the only main problem I see is.
I thought it was over that.
The only problem, quote-unquote problem I see with Gungeon on Switch is load time, but besides that, not really much.
Okay, so even on PC, I did have some load time problems. I can feel...
Oh, did you?
Yeah, a little bit. On my old laptop, I did. On my new PC, it runs like no problem. But on my laptop, I had a little bit of the load time problem. But on the Switch, even... with like this happens occasionally on the PC when you get like some crazy combinations of items that start shooting bullets all over the screen. You'll get some lag on the computer too. That even happens to me. But I can feel that lag starting off on the first floor of the Gungeon on the Nintendo Switch version personally.
Now I don't really notice that much The only time I really see that kind of thing, I mean, it's mostly just slowdown, which isn't that big of a deal, especially in a game where
yeah, exactly,
it helps a little bit. Most notably, like what's her name, the Medusa kind of lady,
the Gorgon, yeah.
Like anytime she does that spew in all directions attack, it slows down a little bit, and anything on like that kind of caliber,
on her stage, it's
that's
specifically
when it starts slowing down. But like, it's never anything massive.
Yeah.
It'll like slow down just a little bit, and then once that attack ends, it goes back to normal.
See, on her stage, it's specifically the water. That's what it is. And I know on the PC, you'd have that problem too, where if you sprayed water everywhere and then like, and had that running, and then you had to have bullets everywhere, it would slow down. It's one of those things that does cause some slowdown.
Yeah.
What were you saying to her?
With what setting do you want it on? Because there's beauty, performance, and like
do
balance.
they have different settings? Oh, they do have different settings on the Switch.
I pretty much never touched it from balance.
See, I put it on
beauty once.
That's even worse.
Yeah, I put it on beauty once, and like I immediately noticed a difference in like performance.
Yeah, see, then
I play it on
I
beauty.
mean, I kind of expected it, obviously, because if you're choosing between beauty and performance, then obviously there's going to be a dip in performance.
But it's noticeable enough that I have to play it on the performance mode on my Switch, and even then I can still feel it's like everything is just like a tick slower. And I can feel the difference. So it actually makes it a bit easier for me on the Switch to play.
Because you poured so many hours into it,
but
so
again,
you
yeah,
feel it.
it's because
any new players, it's like they don't notice it.
700 hours in that game, and I can feel a difference. And that's why I wanted to see how you guys feel. Because it's not like, because it's such a consistent lag on that game, it helps out. But it's one of those cases where they have to work on optimizing, and that's one of the few games that I've seen. I didn't think that we'd have any problems like that. But it makes me worried about other games being ported in the future, which is what I really wanted to talk about.
Too, because like, you wouldn't think it's that heavy of a game to run, right?
See, I figure
just sprite work and stuff, right?
It's the sprite work. The problem is that there's so many objects at once calculating different speeds and velocities and hitboxes. That's where
I'm gonna be honest. I don't know jack diddly squat about anything related to coding or how like gigabytes or
let's put it this way. There's a gun in there called the Crown of Guns that sprays a bullet in every direction in random. There are items that you can use to multiply those bullets and have it shooting 3 in every direction, and then you can have bullets that'll make them bounce and make them last longer and make them do all sorts of things, make them bigger. Even on a PC, that'll lag up your system. But the reason that is because there's too many things on screen at once, so that's fine. But when a game is being slowed down a little bit, I feel like things need to be worked on. So I'm worried about other games in the future that would not be optimized properly, and just the ports of them would be seen as being so bad on the Switch. I'm sure you guys might remember when like Batman Arkham on the PC port. That's a terrible port of the game. It lags all over the place.
We've had a couple situations where things were like a little bit rocky from the beginning, and I mean, for the most part, like once a game releases its first patch, it's serviceable. Like, you'll notice bumps and hiccups here. Like, even Breath of the Wild, it had tons of places where you drop frames, there'd be slowdown, there'd be shit just, like, messing up all over the place. The resolution would drop. But, you know, I mean, obviously it's a little bit different because it's a first-party Nintendo game. But, you know, over time, they update it. It makes it a little bit easier to run. Stuff goes, you know, they make it a little bit more condensed, and over time it becomes a much better experience, you know. As long as the company and Nintendo are willing to dedicate the time and manpower to, like, keeping the game up to par, then, you know, we don't really have to worry about that for that long. The only thing we really have to worry about is, like, people blowing it up to huge proportions on a release day.
That's another thing, the hype and the I guess the reverse hype of things that people try and put out there.
Yeah, that's really a problem with all games, really, because day one releases are never really going to be perfect.
I feel like it's just specifically a Nintendo problem because people just want Nintendo to fail for some reason. They're just asshats out there who just want Nintendo to drop out of the console market.
Because they don't think Nintendo can stand up to Sony and Microsoft. Because Nintendo doesn't have the 4K capability and all that.
And that is one thing that drives me up a goddamn wall. Anytime someone mentions that it's the 4K era, the 4K era, the 4K era, fuck off. It's not the 4K era until 4K is affordable.
Fair point.
I think the developers need to keep in mind that no matter how graphically intense your game is, it can run on the Switch if you just properly optimize and downgrade certain assets. Like, it doesn't have you don't have to use the same models. I'm sure you can always change your models up to make them slightly less detailed to make them fit on a Switch, and that's be perfectly fine for most people to have a slightly downgraded version as long as it runs. But you have to make sure that you downgrade and you know, properly optimize so that it runs well enough that they're not going to be a problem later on, because people will get mad about that.
That being said, I am really impressed with how like pretty Mario Odyssey looks.
Yeah,
especially like with the detail and all of the models and shit. You can see the hair in Mario's freaking mustache and the stitches in his overalls and his hat and the felt of his hat. It is ridiculous. What the fuck, dude?
Especially with all those different outfits, you can see different textures and all that stuff for each outfit.
Nerdy, you've been quiet. Where have you been?
Yeah, I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I was just wondering. I'm also quiet, but I like listening to people. Ha 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 ha. Mwahaha. You'll never know I'm here.
No, I do feel like that really is something that you really gotta almost like know the Switch's quirks about to take advantage to get things like Mario's super detailed strand by strand mustache. Like that's something you really gotta. It's something I feel like, again, talking about developers a little bit here, but that developers should like really almost like have fun with, like experiment with what they can get away with and what they can't just flat out can't do to get things like that.
They can't just write off the Switch because they don't think they have the capability. They need to work with the Switch to show that they can make a beautiful game and bring a beautiful game and still keep it beautiful on the Switch.
Anyway,
Where are we now, by the way? Are we done? We're done with hardware.
Yeah, that was the hardware, and that was just talking about.
How about we talk about the OS for a little bit?
The operating system?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I don't have much to say about that. So if you guys have anything to say about the operating system,
things happened.
Oh.
I would have preferred it if it was like it was a little bit more customizable, like the 3DS, because like everything's all up in a line and shit. Like on the Switch, it's all up in a line. I wish you could condense it a little bit, and I wish you could move around the software. I also personally don't care for like when you put I'm having a hard time getting it out, but like all of the games that you own are on the home screen, and that really bugs me for some reason, because like if Mario Kart is not inserted into my Switch, why does it need to be on my home menu?
Yeah.
I just want there to be a disc channel, and then like all my digital games are lined up and shit.
So I guess more ways to customize the layout of the home screen would be nice. I'm personally one of the people who don't care. I never touched the layout, the themes on my 3DS, really. I really just, changed the grid size. That was like, because you got the option for that. I would just change the grid size so I could see everything in the order that I wanted it to.
I really like that.
But she loves her layouts too, so she would have loved her themes.
I would love to see themes.
Yeah.
It would just make everything amazing.
That right there, that theme, I want that shit.
That's just a wallpaper. I'm surprised you can't add wallpapers from the screenshots you take in the games.
Right, that'd be good. That's even
absolutely
better.
something they need to add. You need to be able to take your screenshots and put them into like the background. That shit would be like, amazing.
That's the only thing about the OS that surprised me, is that they don't have that specific feature. Like it just seemed like it's a no-brainer. There is even like isn't there like there's no wallpaper section, but you have like a theme section. It's just white and black, and nothing else. No wallpapers or nothing. Like that should have been just a
that
obvious
is
piece.
one thing that interests me. Like it points to the fact that themes are coming at some point. Otherwise, it would just be like set as night mode or whatever, like how Twitter does it. But
absolutely. I mean, and we've seen that like themes can take time, because the 3DS when it first came out, it had 5 generic colors, just black, white, and then it had like red, blue, green, and yellow. That's it. But now we got an entire shop dedicated to just themes.
No, I love
and
that.
I
The
have
BDS
spent
theme
way
shop.
too much money on that shop.
I have too. I'd like to say I'd put like $20 into themes, which is more than I think I should have.
Not to mention, are any of you guys familiar with like the badge shop? or the badge, the arcade
Yes,
badge.
The what?
I personally
No.
I got a ton of badges.
Okay. I am personally ashamed of the amount of money I put into that stupid ass minigame.
Me too. I feel like maybe
I feel like I've heard of
I
this
only
game.
feel like maybe
You remember like the little pink bunny? You would go into a kind of an arcade and it would be like a claw machine thing. You would grab badges and shit and you could put them onto your home screen.
I don't remember that. No.
You see, this is what I never touched themes, so I have no idea what I didn't even know this thing existed on the 3DS.
It was free to play.
yeah, and
it was free
some
to
of these
play, but
like
you could buy extra plays, and that shit hooked me
course.
so
God.
bad.
Of
yeah, and
course.
the cool thing about this was like some of these badges would actually work for like system icons. Like there's one I
Yeah.
have with Ashley from WarioWare holding a settings cog, and that is the actual app, like the app picture for the settings.
Yeah,
Mm.
and there were like there was Splatoon ones where there were like splats that were the settings menu and the eShop and shit like that.
See, I really want these kind of things.
Yeah,
on the Switch.
it's one of those things that I'm absolutely sure we will get at some point. I wish they would talk about it more.
Yeah.
Also, Shadigan, how's it going? We
Yeah.
finally got someone in the chat.
Shadikin's in the chat. How you doing, dude? It's been a while.
We haven't seen
Hey,
you
buddy.
for quite a while. How's that? You still doing
The art
Did it-
stuff.
Oh yeah, the theme stuff.
Yeah.
So I
Good.
just watched you play Mario Party like this morning and last night. That dude's funny when it comes to Mario Party.
We got the group, man. We haven't seen how long has it been since we talked to Shadigan?
I don't know. It's been a while.
It's been quite a while.
He's doing
quite
live
a few
streams now.
months.
Yeah. Basically, that's all I've been doing too. Is just live.
Yeah,
streams.
no one's
Yeah.
really been up to recording.
It's more than that. I just can't edit. I have no patience.
I gotta learn how to edit. I want to make my own videos, man.
It takes way too long. I would love to edit if I had a purpose to.
So I think we're finished with hardware. We're done with the.
Yeah, we just touched on the OS a bit. Who wants to start
Oh,
speculating?
one more thing on
Go
the
ahead.
OS before we move on. I was a big fan of folders.
Mm-hmm. Okay,
I
yeah,
do want my folders.
definitely.
That's all.
That is one
because
addition
my
it does.
my 3DS had things from like third-party developers, and then I had another folder for indie games, and then I had another folder for like Nintendo like first-party games that I had
think
downloaded
folders
and
would
stuff
be
like that.
Great for Stein's Switch. He has
I-
too
I-
many games he has.
But I don't even mind.
And
going
the
through
thing-
it. Personally, I don't actually mind going through my home screen. It would be nice to have the options to customize them more, but it doesn't bother me that much. I'm sure if I had like somehow 100 games on that memory card, I'm sure it would eventually get more annoying. But
And that's the thing. It's because it's so easy to just download a game on the Switch.
yeah,
It's too
it
really
easy.
is.
Yeah.
It's
Every
way
single time
too
someone
easy to
buys
just
one,
be
it's
like, well,
check
I
the
want.
eShop. There's so many games in the eShop that are like $20
Yeah.
and under. Check it. You'll find so
Not
many
to
games
mention,
to
I
buy.
have it linked to my PayPal now. That was a terrible.
Yeah, me too. That was a bad move on my part.
I
have it
linked
on
it to
my
my card. I didn't even go through PayPal. I just linked it directly to my card.
Same here.
I have it synced set to my card and my PayPal.
Of course. Do they go
What?
to different
Yeah.
things?
Okay, so I actually did have one. It's not gonna be a big topic. So I wanted to know what percentage of your time do you think you spend in each mode of the Switch, like handheld, docked, and tabletop? Like,
That's a good
I
where
question.
is all of
like-
your gameplay?
I spent like 98% of it in docked mode. I never leave my house, so you know.
Fair point.
There's really,
Okay.
like, there was one, like, I went on vacation and I brought the Switch with me, and you know, the only option I really had, I couldn't hook it up to the TV. Otherwise, the only option I really had was to play it in handheld mode. And you know, every now and again, I'll just pick it up. I'll take it so I can lay in my bed for a while and
Yeah.
look at the Switch.
Okay, so he's basically a docked person. How about you, Nerdieo?
I would say I'm a very solid 50-50 with how I spend my time with it.
Really? Okay.
Very, like, even in my own home, I sometimes just like to take it out, just play whatever in the kitchen instead of my bedroom.
You see, I'm bad. I pretty much play out, I'd say, about 80% of my time in handheld mode or tabletop with a Pro Controller, but like 80% of my time is out of the dock. The only time I dock it is if I'm A, streaming, or B, the battery is dying.
Yeah.
Like, those are the only that's like the only instances I actually do put it on the dock. Otherwise, I actually prefer laying in bed with it in my hands for the most part.
I like to say I'm actually the opposite of Stein, because while he's playing in the handheld, I steal his TV 80% of the time to play Splatoon with my Pro Controller.
So it works perfectly. That's what you're saying.
He needs the TV. I just take it and play it. So really, we're like opposites right here.
Yeah. But I mean, but that is great though that we all play it completely differently, and it works exactly the same way.
I mean, I absolutely don't mind playing it in any mode at all. It's just it's just I don't go anywhere. I have no reason to be playing it.
That's what I just wanted to say. I want to see where like everyone feels more comfortable because like I said, I'll be home and I just have it in handheld mode unless it's dying.
I do feel like tabletop is probably less liked more. I think it's probably. I don't really like tabletop because the stand. I know I know it's supposed to pop out, but it also pops out really easily, and it's really easy to just knock over. So I feel like playing on tabletop, unless you have a stand that stands it up a little bit, so it doesn't support itself, then I feel like tabletop is just like, It's a big like. I'd rather either hold it in my hand or just have it on the TV.
I was gonna say that there's like a very quirky third-party stand. It's from Nyko. They made a stand for the Switch that's metal instead of that almost like soft plastic.
Okay.
And people say that it is a lot more durable when it's on that stand, but the thing that you're sacrificing is that it can't slide into the dock.
Oh, okay. See, I have one of the stands that like puts it like 3 different angles, and you can just put it on the stand like that, and it has like a little slot.
Yeah, we have the plastic Hori one. I think it's
the Hori one.
I got one too.
It's like $15, and that works amazing. That just pretty much fixes the tabletop mode problem of it always falling over. It's just like perfect.
I basically just use tabletop when I have to use motion controls.
It has a slot for a charger.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. You can charge it on tabletop.
Basically, if I need motion controls and I'm not docked, that's when I'll put it in tabletop so I can disconnect the Joy-Cons or put on a Pro Controller.
Oh, while we're on the topic of motion controls, motion-controlled shrines in Breath of the Wild. Look, you hit a ball into a hole, that's all well and good, that's perfectly fine. I swear to God, Nintendo, never make me tilt my controller 360 degrees around again so that I could get a dumbass ball from one side of a maze to another.
I did that in my first try.
It's funny because I found those sections like super fun.
Yeah,
but the thing is they were super easy to exploit for me because for the most part what it ended up being was me turning my controller upside down to get like the maze on a flat side and then just launch it through motion control.
I did that too, but at the same time, like, it was at such a weird angle, like, viewing angle, where, like, I kept on misaligning it. I kept on, like, pointing the bridge ever so slightly too far, like towards me, and it kept on falling right in front of the bridge, so at some point, I actually turned the thing upside down, like, froze the ball with stasis, jumped on over to it, hit it in the right direction, and then I finally got it across to the bridge.
Beautiful.
I was so pissed off that I had to resort to that. I mean, at the same time, I love that you could do shrines with like that, but also fuck all of that.
See, as soon as I realized that the ball would respawn and fall back down, I was like, I wonder what would happen if I just, like, drop it and flip the controller upside down. And it just worked perfectly. I was like, okay.
Anyway, yeah, that was a bit of a segue.
No, I think that was a fun thing with the motion controls. I think there was a lot of cool stuff in Breath of the Wild.
Don't get me wrong, there were cool, like, gyro-controlled things. It's just, like, they went a little too overboard with it.
Bye, Shadigan. Take care.
Shad's gotta head out. See you later, dude.
He's getting ready for a stream himself.
Oh, God.
Don't be dropping your pen.
So, alright, we've gone over hardware, software.
So we have what? Sorry, what?
Oh, I was just saying that I also have like Stein's list on my computer right now. So
yeah. So
I like to see where we're at.
So I figured we went through we talked a little bit about games. But we can still talk more about games that we released or games that we want. For the most part. which I guess ties into that. Online services or Labo. Those are the other things really on my list to talk about. So we can go whichever order you guys want for the rest of it. I figured talking about like things we want and stuff will be the end of it.
I could jump into the online service for a minute.
Okay.
We know it's coming in September, at least until they delay it a fourth time by this point.
I feel like if they delay it one more time, they just might as well make it free at that point. There's no point.
Yeah,
I feel like even Nintendo is like, we don't have a good enough reason to really put it out there yet. Like we would need way more online games to make it worth it. That is a little bit of
a concern. Like if they've been holding it back for this long, it's either A, so they could get a game out there, or B, because they feel like there's not a good enough reason that they have to make it a paid service, because right now obviously we're enjoying free online games and shit like that, and you know, you can play Splatoon, you just gotta buy the game, hook it up to some Wi-Fi, doesn't matter. But like they either have to A, have software that like number one, requires a stable enough internet connection, and number two, would justify you paying for that stabilized internet connection. And like the only game I could personally really think about is Smash, that like has that kind of draw to it.
The need for it.
I mean, unless they're gonna drop some kind of new IP on us, which is kind of doubtful since they just did that last year with ARMS. I mean, they might have something, but you know, it would be quite a surprise.
We also need to remember that we also have how much of it was actually real with the possible monthly games thing? When the online comes out, that we'd be getting monthly, like, NES games.
Oh, that's probably going to happen, most likely.
No, exactly. Yeah. They might be holding it off because of that, not just because of the online features, because the online features, by my knowledge, work pretty well in a lot of the online games we run.
I think that the only thing, like, I don't mind the app, but they have to like work out party making, voice chat, and things like that. I would prefer the voice chat could happen through the system, but I'll even forgo that. They just need to make it better so you can get into a party with your friends. Like I think of it like I used to be Xbox Live. I would make a party with a bunch of friends, and we would sit there chatting while we're playing separate games. We just need features like that to be able to chat with a group of people at once very easily. I don't care if it's through the app or not, personally. But I feel like if they're gonna start charging us for a full feature set, like what else would they really be charging us for?
And even then, it's so cheap compared to the other
Yeah, no,
guys.
it's cheap. But what will they really be charging us for then? Because we already technically have our voice chat, even if it's not working well. So what other features do we want to see in the online that we're gonna be paying for? Because I think the only thing that would make it worth paying for would be a monthly like NES or SNES game. That's the only thing I could think of paying for, and in that case, you're basically just paying for a Nintendo Netflix.
Yeah, basically.
Not paying for services themselves.
Although I do hope that you actually download the game for like a brief period of time or whatever, and
I
not
think we'll
actually
probably have
stream
touch-ups on anything.
Because my Wi-Fi could not handle streaming games. Even if it's like an NES game, I can't handle that kind of.
Yeah, I think that there was.
I need to buy myself a goddamn LAN adapter.
When they announced the service for the games, I think that there was some confusion with the wording of it. I can't remember exactly what the wording for that announcement said. But I think there was confusion about it. I feel like they're definitely going to let you download the game for the month that it's free, and I'm pretty sure they're going to let you keep it if you had the service that month. I don't think they're going to take the game away from you.
We're definitely going to have to see, because the wording was very, very weird.
Yeah.
People thought they were going to take it away. People thought they were going to keep it. We really have to see. Maybe this E3 will get something with the online, hopefully, and what it's about and what they're doing with it.
I feel like E3 isn't a good time to put that. I feel like this is all underwhelming for an E3 though, to be talking about that online service
now,
necessarily.
Here's an idea that they actually had over at GameXplain. E3, if you had the Nintendo Online service, if they gave you demos of like E3 games that like press and people were playing, that shit would be amazing. I would throw all of my money at that.
That would be really
Especially
cool, but I really
like,
don't think that's gonna happen.
Especially like considering if next year they had a demo for Metroid Prime 4, I would.
Because that would just go into the eShop as a demo. You wouldn't need anything else for that. I don't think. I think that would be a little redundant to have that part of that system. I think that would actually be more annoying, if anything, that you'd have to pay for the online to play the demo.
Here's the thing. Like, I mean, exclusive access for, like, you know, E3 weekend, and then, like, later down the line they release the demo on the eShop or whatever.
I mean, I guess I could see that being like a perk, but I think that's kind of like a cheap perk. Yeah. I would actually be a little bit annoyed if it was like that, personally. I would wait for the actual demo on the eShop. I just wouldn't pay for if that was what I was getting for the service. But who knows what they're going to put into their online service. They keep saying that they're going to put, you know, different things, but they don't actually give us too much information on it yet, unfortunately.
No, they did not. They really like surprising us for when it's going to come.
Anything, like, what else would you want to be part of the service if you're going to have to pay for it, even if it's only a few dollars a year or whatever? Any features that you would want in there, Nerdieo?
Any specific features? Right now, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to compare. Like, I feel like I shouldn't, but I do feel like it's way too easy to compare to the other services like Xbox Live and PSN. Yeah. One thing I do know that I don't want is what they're doing with PSN. And if you guys didn't know, is that the downloaded, you kind of touched on this a little bit earlier, Stein. The free downloaded game you get with PSN, that goes away the second you stop paying.
Does it really? Because on Xbox Gold...
Yeah, Xbox Live, it's permanent. You just download the game, it's free, it's yours to keep. But on PlayStation, if you stop paying for the subscription service, they take back the game.
See, that's annoying, and I really hope they don't do that with the Switches online, whatever game they give you for the month there. I really hope they don't do that. That's really going to be annoying.
Yeah, I absolutely know a ton of things I don't want, but I kind of just want to see how Nintendo will take it for as far as things I do. Another thing I guess I wouldn't want from this is I guess not really wouldn't want, but I want the net play for those NES and Super Nintendo games to be good. Because Splatoon I feel like has the best online out of any Switch game so far.
I agree. It does have some things like mostly from it won't connect to another console or not enough people, you won't find a match. But when you get into a match, it's very, very good.
Things do run smoothly.
Things do run smoothly, you're like, unless other players have a bad connection and lose out because of their connection.
It might have just been my Wi-Fi that I was having the issue with, but for a while there, I was dropping out of games pretty consistently.
I think if we're gonna have problems with the NES net play, I think we got other problems to talk about.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't see that being a problem. But if there's a problem with that on top of everything else, then that's not going to be a good show for Nintendo.
Nintendo needs to wrench those servers.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
for the most part, the online services do work well when you're in a game in all the games. Like Mario Kart 2 generally works pretty well online.
Mario Kart.
I'm not sure if you guys have had any problem with it, but I also think that Rocket League has some really good online too.
Rocket League is great.
Amazingly.
Rocket League is running absolutely.
I unfortunately haven't gotten it yet.
The only problems that we've ever had is when it reserves a spot for a player. Sorry, what?
I was just telling Mighty, because he said he didn't have Rocket League, I was just saying it's worth the purchase.
It definitely is.
I absolutely plan on getting it at some point, if for no other reason other than that sexy Samus car. Let me tell you, man, I would do some regrettable things for a Samus car.
I think it's great that it came out with that Rocket League's on the Switch with extra cars and it's still going to be updated. And it has freaking shared servers with the other with what is it, the Xbox one?
No, not Xbox,
with
just PC.
PC.
Xbox, it is Xbox One and PC.
See, I haven't seen any Xbox people.
The only console it doesn't connect to is PS4, but that's because Sony's being assholes.
I was about to say Sony's being a bitch.
Yep. And what's called another? They're even improving that even more because right now I'm not sure if you guys have tried it, but you can't make parties with PC and Xbox players.
No, you can't.
But they have said that's they're saying they're already working on that right freaking now.
Okay.
They're saying that.
Because I tried to do that. Well, I tried to see if I can connect my computer version, because I have it on the PC too. I tried to connect my PC and try to make a party. You can't make a party, but there is a way to get into a match with your friend on a different console specifically.
Yep, there is. Yeah, regular online matches and other modes like the hockey mode, like Snow Day and things like that. All of that, that's free for all. It's Switch, PC, Xbox, all at once in an online glory field.
Yeah. You just can't choose to play with your friends on different consoles yet.
Yeah.
Alright. Alright, well, if we're done with the online, I suppose it's time to move on to our thoughts on Labo.
I love it. I need it. I want it. I want the toy guns.
I can't wait to pay $70 for cardboard, man. It's gonna be great.
I
can't wait.
So much mighty need.
Did you guys see the overview video that they released?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah,
I was super amazed with how much more it had, because it had a lot more features than I thought it would. Like those games go pretty in depth, not too much, but pretty darn in depth.
The main thing that I thought about when I saw the Labo, other than the fact that you can make all new experiences, you can make a ton of different things. I suppose if you have the creativity for it. The thing that it brought to mind for me when they started showing the house thing with like the different connector pieces you can put into it. I immediately thought of, what if you can start using your amiibo with these different things? Like, what if there were certain ones that use your amiibo for whatever the hell it's doing? Maybe it can make a board game that uses your amiibo or something, I started thinking about those possibilities, because I think we need a new feature for amiibo to be used for.
Yeah,
that seemed exactly where to put it.
That didn't even cross my mind, but I'm absolutely in love with the idea.
That just seemed like the perfect place to rebrand the
You never told me that. Why didn't you tell me about that?
I'm sorry, I don't tell you about everything in my head.
You should.
Here's something I want to ask. Would you guys want to see Labo integrated into Nintendo's other properties? Like, say, we get some kind of weird-ass cardboard controller for F-Zero or whatever.
I could see them making, like, little mini spin-off titles for all their things. I can't see them, like, making custom items to go with their regular games. If they did that, I would say that game has to be based around the Labo stuff and would have to, like, be, like, purely for Labo. I could see them doing, like, something like I don't know, I guess Star Fox, some kind of like wheel. I see them doing something like that for one of their games, but I can't see them doing it for, like, just throwing it into, like, the next Metroid Prime 4. Like, I can't see it being used in there. But
one thing I was really hoping is that the motorcycle add-on would lead to something with the Excite Bike. I was really hoping that would be like maybe like a first-person Excite Bike or an Excite Bike.
Amazing, to be honest.
That's the thing. I actually have never played an Excite Bike game, but everyone who has is constantly raving about how much fun
you want to know where
I
played Excite Bike?
What?
Animal Crossing.
Okay.
I played it in Animal Crossing of all things, and that's how I know about Excite Bike. It is an amazing game.
Like if you play like the Excite Bike track in Mario Kart 8, it is just as hectic. It is just as hectic as that.
It is amazing, the Mario Kart 8. That is such a fun stage to race on.
Yeah, I was looking at, when I saw the Labo stuff, I was looking at the fishing game and the piano. Those are the two that interested me the most, probably.
The fishing game, because you can create your own fish. That's what I really love. You can make your own fish. You can catch other people's fishes. And with the piano's just piano.
Yeah.
Like, how does this work? I want to know how people can make music with it. I want to. Oh my god, I'm just so excited for Nintendo Labo. It's such an interesting concept.
That's the thing, though. We need other people now to take that concept and make their own things with it. Because I could see a million simulation games using cardboard devices, plugging your Joy-Con into it, and playing something stupid like that. I could see a plenty of different scenarios.
I heard a puppy in the background, so I
Yeah.
might say hi.
Oh yeah, that's a doggo. That's my neighbor's doggo.
It's a good
but
doggo.
Did it
doggo.
change the image back?
What?
It changed the
There
image back.
is
Wasn't that the image of...
No, because it was this one before.
Oh.
But then it changed it. Oh, I see what happened there. Because I have the proper Nerdieo on that one.
So I'm not even in there.
Now you're not.
Wow.
Did I fix that properly?
No.
No, I didn't fix that. I could have sworn I did that properly. I guess not.
Cut me out.
Oh, but still,
Oh, too bad.
It's still this on here.
Oh, that's the thumbnail.
That's the thumbnail. It's not the image on the stream.
Oh, that's weird.
Yeah, it's separate.
Rejected.
Oh well, so we can either have Nerdio's avatar on the stream, or we can have Taru's avatar on the stream. We gotta pick one.
we could go with Taru's. I'll stick with the Sakura from Street Fighter.
I'll just go back to that. I just realized
Totally
I just realized Taru wasn't there, and that it was all changed back to the Lucario.
Rejected. I feel so rejected. No one loves
I had to update it so many times that I updated it finally the wrong with the
Get
wrong
on the
one.
floor.
I am on the floor.
There is something I do want to ask about Labo.
Which is?
So I'm not saying this should be for every application, but seeing how there is things like the bike racing, and now that they've announced the feature that 2 people with the robot Labos can fight, do you think there are, and there's a bunch of other Nintendo Labo things that they didn't even officially announce, like a bird and a camera, which by the way I hope is for a Pokemon Snap spin-off.
That would be amazing.
In some way, we hope so too.
But with some games, not all of them again, do you think they should integrate some form of online?
With the Labo games?
Or should it just say... or do you think it just say exclusively
online? Here's the thing.
Well, they already are, because the fishing game has technically online where you can get other people's fish.
Here's the
and
thing.
stuff. So,
the target demographic for this is kind of small children. I don't think Nintendo sees a benefit to having online capabilities to this. I mean, I'm not saying it's impossible, but at the same time, why?
No, it does. I think it would just depend on the game. Like I said, they're already doing it for the fishing one. Technically, there's an online feature to that.
And I'm
so
sure there's
for the little
be
race,
some for the piano.
But I could,
the motorcycle racing.
I could see like.
Could see what?
Oh, I was gonna say I could totally see like kids wanting to, like, you know, when they get home say, "Hey, I want to race you in the motorcycles with the new track I made when you get home."
Exactly. That's,
like,
that's what I was thinking.
Okay,
definitely
like
not
that,
all the games. Like,
is a little is more understandable.
Like
Games
like the house one and the piano one. That definitely that's clearly not gonna work.
But anything that clearly has a competitive or 2-player aspect, you can always just put online into it and make it work.
Yeah, like I said, like the robots fighting or the motorcycles racing.
And I mean, again,
games like those.
I was gonna say it comes down to what games they make for it too, because I remember I used to have this game on my phone where it was a sword fighting game where you would just put in a pair of headphones and hold the phone in front of you like a fucking sword, and they would call out different attack positions to you. You have to turn your phone different orientations to block different strikes. I could see that totally being integrated into a Labo game, and then putting that online too. I could totally see them doing a bunch of really cool stuff that you can't do with any other system at all. Like in terms of like fake virtual reality, sort of like augmented reality kind of gaming scenarios where it actually puts you into the control of the game. The Joy-Cons themselves are all you really need for that, but then, you know, adding the cardboard cutouts to, you know, represent whatever you're doing.
I'm really curious to what people are going to be doing with the Nintendo Labo, because they've already said you can make your own stuff with all of the sets. So I'm really wondering,
you can make
what does
your
that
own
entail?
sheet music for the piano.
Yeah, you can. There's so much customizability and so many different things that you can already make with the Labo that they're letting developers work on more. So that's going to be interesting going further down the road. Right now, everything's simple. It's interesting, but it's simple. There's lots of room for that to grow.
And
I'm
excited.
And I don't mean to take
excited.
a. Oh.
Go ahead, Nerdieo.
I don't mean to take a few steps back into our conversation, but I do think like this really opens the doors to how far we can take Joy-Cons.
Yes.
Yeah.
Like it opens the doors a ton. Like these are clearly not. They're clearly not just controllers. Clearly after this.
That was what I was thinking. I was thinking there's a million things you could do with the Joy-Cons and all the tech built into them, and then adding something like they do where you put the Joy-Con into a thing to control it differently. There's so many possibilities that you can open up with it. We really need some creative teams working on some things with that.
Some crazy things.
Yeah. I could see that being the next big thing on the Switch. You can make a serious game with these features if someone was willing to actually do it. Like, this is the first step to having like a VR online game almost with like motion controls and the like the ARMS controls. I won't say that I like ARMS controls super like too much, but the way that it controls, you could implement that into a different kind of online game and make something amazing with it.
Yeah, and they've even shown that you could go as far as taking like your whole body into things with a giant robot.
Yeah, exactly.
Like imagine integrating that into like a shooter or a fighting game, being able to genuinely throw out moves to diss out your friends. instead of just the punches with like arms in Wii Sports.
That's what I can't wait for. That's what I hope that this kind of stuff like Labo and the Switch and the Joy-Con start bridging that gap to that interactive style of gameplay where you're not just using a controller, you're actually like controlling the characters or controlling the game in some way.
Yeah.
That's the first step. I think this is a bigger step to like immersive gaming than VR than the regular VR things have almost been sometimes, if someone does it properly anyway. It's not gonna match the like a whole head-mounted display, but for having something on a screen in front of you and controlling it like that, it's gonna be fun. And we keep going quiet in between transitions. So next up on the topic list.
All right, that's how you know the topic's done.
Basically, yeah.
Usually, when we actually find nothing else to talk about. There's not a lot to talk about Nintendo Labo. It hasn't come out yet. We've only seen about 3 videos about it, so there's not much to talk about. It's mostly the potential behind it.
Really, the last thing to talk about would be anything specific regarding games or just future speculation for what's going to happen. So, before we actually start speculating really on things, is there anything related to anything else that we haven't talked about that anyone wants to bring up?
Well, I mean, I would like to start a little bit of a topic on Breath of the Wild, but at the same time, I feel like we would be here for a long time.
Because this is like a year in review for the Switch. Was there something specific for Breath of the Wild that you wanted to talk about, or was there like just a general thing?
I mean, technically, it's Breath of the Wild's birthday as well, so I mean, technically, we're not breaking the rules, but I don't know. I just wanted to discuss how much of that game is fucking amazing and how it is eaten up hundreds of hours of my time.
I think you're at 600 now. God,
Give me
you're
a
doing
second.
white, ew.
650 hours of Breath of the Wild, and that's only on my Switch. That is only on my Switch.
Oh, yeah,
I had
right,
this
you have the
game
Wii U.
on my Wii U.
You know, it's sad. It's sad that Minecraft still probably has more than that on my Switch.
600? No.
I think I have more than that.
I've actually devoted quite a bit of Minecraft on the Switch. I'm not gonna lie.
Any game,
I refuse to touch Minecraft.
Any game I get on the Switch that I think I would not play, I get it because I got it on Switch because I figured I'm not gonna play it any other way really, and it actually worked. I played a ton of that game. When I normally would never play it.
We still never finished our house.
No, I fucked that town. I don't give a shit. It was fun. And what was I playing? I was playing that while we waited for what game? What game came out that took us away from Minecraft? I can't even remember.
I actually have no idea.
Something came out that took us away from Minecraft.
I remember you guys were like streaming it. Yeah, I remember you were streaming the game waiting for something.
Yeah, we were basically waiting for the next big game, and I got bored and got Minecraft.
Splatoon.
Probably Splatoon, honestly.
I think it was Splatoon. It was either that or Pokken.
No, we were probably waiting for Splatoon. Maybe Pokken 2, actually. But no, it's definitely a thing where I play games way more on the Switch that I don't play on the PC. Like, even Rocket League. I had Rocket League on the PC. Never really played it. Switch, I play it every day now.
I have a problem. I keep on buying games for my PS4 and then never touching my PS4 because I also have a Switch.
Yeah, give me a PlayStation. I'll let it sit in this room and never play it.
I honestly kept on like looking at it and be like, I'm bringing it to Taru. I'm gonna give it to Taru. I'm never touching that shit.
You don't bring it to my house. You bring it to this house.
I know.
So we can actually play it.
And I'm never gonna touch it either, honestly.
At least we'll have it when we move out.
I know.
Then we can play it when we have the time.
I mean, we just need to get a house together, honestly. Like, so, one of us can get some use out of that PS4.
Yeah, we all need to move out in general. But that's completely off topic.
Let's talk about life.
1 year in review of Switch. We need to move out and get a new place.
Hey, it's true.
But I mean, there's a ton of things like you were saying with like Breath of the Wild and how many hours we spent into it. I think
everyone got their Switch handy or nah?
Of course.
Yep.
All right. Why don't we just take a look at our profiles and see which games we put most time in? I mean.
Oh, I already know it's Zelda.
I mean, obviously. I don't know about these guys, but as I said, I put 650 hours into Breath of the Wild. We all know that's on the top of my chart already.
Let's see. Is Zelda still on the top?
Okay, Minecraft, 480 hours.
Of course.
Right.
Okay, so where's my Zelda?
Alright.
And it also only holds the last 20 games.
Mm.
Oh, no,
and I have
something's been going on.
21 games.
No, something's been going on with not showing the playtime.
Mm-hmm.
Really?
Because
that's because
some people just
all right.
My Zelda says first played a day ago.
There's some kind of
oh my
weird,
god,
yeah,
it does.
it's because
there's some kind of weird overlap, like that they didn't program it for more than a year, I guess.
Oh
that,
no!
Like,
oh no!
Oh god!
Am I gonna lose?
A good thing is,
I mean, they're not gonna lose any progress. They could probably fix it. It's just the
they did it.
I think Zelda's probably still my highest for like 150 to 200, but
you are like a little baby.
From Zelda Splatoon 2, I have 130. Rocket League has 90.
The system does the math of how long you've been playing a game by subtracting the current date to the date of when you first began to play. However, it would seem that the programming bug in Switch's OS is just looking up the day and the month, disregarding the years.
Oh, I see.
Wonderful. Anyway.
So my Splatoon 2 has 130 hours.
So basically, it's gonna say first played X days ago until about 8 or 9 days, and then it'll go back to my hours.
All right.
That's basically so. Once we get past like the first like week and a half, it'll go back to showing my hours probably.
Okay.
Well, anyway.
So Splatoon 2 is 130. Rocket League has 90. Mario Kart 8 has 70. Minecraft has 80, and all the other ones are in the gray, so it's like 50 hours and more.
We'll just go over our highlight games, what we enjoy most.
I love how it
Switch,
highlights the ones of over 50.
Rocket League 110, Splatoon 2 95, Gungeon 30. That's because I put too much into a PC though. Stardew Valley 60 hours, Doom 20, Pokken 50, Binding of Isaac 95.
And how much do you think your Zelda is?
I think about 100 and something now. Like I don't think I passed 130 or 140. I don't think I got that far. But I didn't get. I didn't even finish the shrines in that game. So
anyway, I got 75 hours into Mario Odyssey. As I said, 650 into Legend of Zelda. I don't know where that time came from. I've put almost 200 hours into Fire Emblem Warriors and 70 hours into Enter the Gungeon. And surprisingly, I've only put 40 hours into Sonic Mania. Which is strange because that is one of the games I've anticipated the most. Like, I've played it quite a bit. It's kind of a short game.
Yeah.
You go through a playthrough of it, it's been just a few short hours.
How about you, Nerdieo?
I can already tell.
Oh god, what was that?
Oh god.
Nerdieo? Oh, it's repeating. I'm on speaker.
Yeah, we all are for some reason. Nerdieo, you there?
All right. I'm sorry. I got it.
Oh, okay.
I was confused.
What? As far as times, right?
Just like the top times, yeah, highest ones.
Highlights.
Okay, so yeah, just the highlighted ones. I have first on my list, just going straight down. I got 130 into Mario Kart, 165 into Splatoon, 65 hours into Cave Story, and that's just gonna get higher because I started another playthrough because I just love this game too much.
Is that game randomly generated or something, or is it like just a straight map?
Cave Story?
Yeah.
Cave Story it's the same every time.
Okay, it is.
I personally play it like once a year.
I still need to get that shit. Damn it! I don't know what's wrong with me. I haven't gotten Cave Story.
I was just thinking the same thing. I promised Nerdieo I'd get it, never did.
I actually had it on the Wii. Like when it originally released, I had it on the Wii. I just never picked it up for some reason. I played a bit of it, but not much.
All right. So what else do you got on there, Nerdieo?
Afterwards, I got Super Mario Odyssey at 105. I have 80 hours into Sonic Mania because I just keep on going back to that game. I just think it's so satisfying to play. I have 50 hours into Minecraft, 160 hours into Pokken.
Wow.
And then I got one more time here for Zelda. I screenshotted my Zelda time just in case it would delete, and it did. So going back to the screenshot, it says I put 245 hours into Zelda.
Okay.
Apparently, we only put 15 hours into Odyssey together.
Yeah, we put 50. We did one straight playthrough, and that was it, pretty much.
My goodness.
We collected almost all the moons and most of the worlds before they add more.
Yeah.
You know, we did max out most of the worlds that we went to.
Tried very hard to.
Oh, God, my legs.
And sitting in this one spot is not very comfortable for too long of time.
Alright,
so beyond that, it's really just wishes and speculation, I guess, unless anyone else has anything specific, like I said.
What's your favorite game out on Switch?
Breath of the Wild, without a fucking doubt, man. I don't give a shit. It's not even my favorite Zelda game. It's not even my favorite Zelda game. It's just, it has this chokehold on me.
You will never escape.
Something I like to tell my friends is that they would one of them was like rooting for PUBG for Game of the Year, and then someone else was rooting for like Persona 5. Yeah. And then and one of them even went for Horizon Zero Dawn. But now that Zelda won, I always like to tell them, hey, I always like to tell them that a Wii U game won Game of the Year.
Horizon Zero Dawn is the only one I would have been cool with. I played a little bit of that game, and it's kind of like the inverse of Breath of the Wild. Like, it's still the open world game and all that shit, but like, where in Breath of the Wild you don't really upgrade yourself, you just get more powerful weapons. In Horizon Zero Dawn, you'll upgrade yourself and shit, and there's more of a focus on story and yada yada yada. That's for another discussion, honestly. But yeah, I honestly don't understand how in the hell PUBG was even qualifying for Game of the Year that year when it was still in its beta stages during the Game Awards.
And it still won. I think it won Best Shooter of the Year. I'm pretty sure it won Best Shooter or Best Strategy was Rabbids. And Best Family Game was...
Best Strategy was Rabbids? Oh my god!
Best Strategy game was Mario and Rabbids. And then Best Family Game was Odyssey.
That is good. I still haven't finished Rabbids, actually.
Rabbids is so fun.
Yeah.
I loved that game so much.
There's still a lot of DLC that they added that I need to get into.
Yeah. I need to get into the Wired DLC.
I want to get into that Donkey Kong DLC when it comes out.
Expandong!
What?
Donkey Kong is coming to Rabbids.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That's right, yeah.
So another character, that's cool.
I was really expecting that it would be like a normal character plus a rabbit character, but no, they were just like, nah, just DK. Whatever.
Just DK.
Just
maybe
DK.
Maybe the surprise will be like a rabbit
I hope
DK.
I hope there's a rabbit DK. That would be. Oh, that's true.
Yeah, but I mean,
that is true.
I feel like they could do like an actual rabbit DK, because I feel like that wasn't like rabbit DK. That was like a mutant DK. Rabid monster, but like, you know, I'm sure they could have an actual like rabbit DK still if they wanted to.
Yeah.
My God, the freaking coincidence that they. Do any of you guys know of the? I mean, Stein. I was watching a video from him before. There's a YouTuber called Rabid Luigi. He's had that name for something in the area of 8 years.
Yeah.
And then that game came out. The internet fucking exploded because there was this one dude who went by the name Rabid Luigi, and now there is a character in this game made possible by Ubisoft called Rabid Luigi.
He saw it coming and called it 8 years ago.
Like,
I call this game.
No one would put these two things together.
The most wonderful thing is the fact that both Ubisoft and Nintendo embrace the ridiculousness of it. They brought him to conventions. They brought him to freaking like press events.
Oh, did they?
They gave him they gave him a review copy of the game plus merchandise of himself, quote unquote.
That's funny.
Oh my God, it was fucking wonderful.
Oh, that is beautiful.
I gotta show you his review of that game once we're done with this. It is a trip. Anyway,
talk about wanting a game, right?
Yeah. 8 years in the making, dude.
You know, someone at Ubisoft was looking through like YouTube one day and like, yeah, that'd be a good idea. Why don't we do that?
I guess we can move on to our wishes now. What we'd like to see on the Switch in the future. Specifically games, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, other than Smash, it's like Dragon Ball Fighters for me, and that's like really all I could use right now on Switch.
I want Okami. I really want the Okami HD on
Yes!
Switch because it's big on Nintendo Wii, and that was I don't care what people say. Nintendo Wii version, because of the freaking Wii remote controls, was amazing.
Now, you see, I'd be hoping for an Okami too. I kind of think we should start backing away from ports though a little bit more. Except for Smash. For
real quick. So go ahead, you first.
I say this every time anybody asks me what game I want. I've said this for like the past 3, maybe 4 years. I will always want a Nintendo versus Capcom game. Always.
Absolutely.
I
Okay.
agree.
That's a,
What
no doubt.
I
in my
would
mind.
play
Big possibility, I'd agree.
right. It'll
The
be the
one
game I'll jump
problem-
1,000 out.
What would it play more like, Smash Brothers or Marvel versus Capcom?
Marvel versus
No,
Capcom.
absolutely versus Capcom,
Yeah.
because it's not just Marvel versus Capcom. Versus Capcom is a series.
Yeah, exactly.
Like there's
Really?
SNK
Yeah.
versus Capcom.
SNK.
Yeah, there's
Marvel,
SNK
and then
versus
they have-
Capcom.
Didn't they have, like,
Tatsunoko.
DC?
They had Tatsunoko versus Capcom on the Wii.
Mm.
Yeah, that was a Wii game, and it even came with like its own arcade style controller.
Yeah. So
Like,
that would-
that game is in.
That would be a versus Capcom game. That would not play like Smash at all.
Yeah,
Boy, that would.
yeah, I would.
Otherwise, they would just add those characters into Smash or something.
I would have a problem dealing with that. But yeah.
I would. It would be the one game. It would be the
Nerdieo,
first game
I
I'd
know-
jump 1,000 hours into.
Nerdieo, I know you don't like this, but I swear to God, if Sonic is not a guest character in that game, I'm not buying. I'm not buying.
Hey, he doesn't fit though. He doesn't technically
Look,
fit.
He has relations
Does
with both Nintendo. He's had crossovers with Mega Man.
Yeah, he's not
There-
gonna fit though.
I don't give a damn. I don't
He's
give
not gonna
Oh
fit.
wait.
a single solitary shit. I want my Sonic the Hedgehog, man.
Yeah.
Well,
I mean, we could have like a Sega versus Capcom. We could throw like him, throw like Knights in there.
Mhm.
Who else?
Anyway.
Samba de Amigo.
Samba! Anyway, oh god, Samba de Amigo on Switch, holy shit, that's a thing. We already have the 2 Joy-Con, you just gotta shake them.
We need the Maraca add-on. We need the Maracas add-on.
Why'd you have to bring that up? Anyway, oh god, shit. I need Kid Icarus. I don't care if it's an Uprising
Okay.
port. I don't give a I would prefer a sequel, obviously, but please, Sakurai. Daddy Sakurai, give me my Kid Icarus.
Well, we got Kid Icarus, Okami. Nerdieo mentioned Pokemon Snap before, hoping with the Nintendo
Yeah.
Labo. That's definitely a big one that people have been waiting for.
Yeah, I feel like they wouldn't do it with Labo, but I feel like they would definitely do that at some point.
At some point, I really hope
Like,
so, because
you-
Pokemon Snap
Like,
never
look
got
at this
anything
shit.
from
You
it.
could just
You'd
pull
have
it
to-
around like
and they'd have
this,
to motion-
it's
and they'd
a
have to add
freaking
motion
thing.
controls, yeah.
Like, come on. You'd be a fool not to make that a camera. At some
Yeah, motion controls are definitely required for that.
We got Dragon Ball Fighters, the Stein ones. What else do we have? Anything else? I'm trying to think of games that aren't on the Switch that I haven't heard having come.
Well, I know you said you wanted to stray away from ports, but are there any Wii U ports specifically that you would want?
Well, we
No,
already
we got
have
all.
Bayonetta.
We have all the games from the Wii U that I care about.
Alright.
Essentially,
Pokken,
except for
Splatoon,
Smash.
Bayonetta, and just Smash.
The,
All we need is Smash.
the only real Wii U game missing that was major is Mario Maker.
I was gonna say, except for Mario Maker.
I
No,
honestly
it's true.
think that more than anything, that's going to get a sequel.
I can see it going.
Yeah,
I can see it going either way.
sequel.
I can see it going either way, but that's definitely gonna happen at some point. I think that they're not gonna overlook that one. That's gonna happen. On the
I mean,
Switch
they
at some point,
already
too.
brought it out to the DS family. They're probably good. Mighty's probably right. They're probably gonna see.
I actually played the 3DS version a lot more than I did the
got that
Wii
from
U.
my little brother.
So he didn't touch
It's
your
just-
Wii U anymore.
It's
No,
just
I mean,
so
he still
convenient.
did, but, you know.
Yeah,
Well,
so
I mean,
we
you have to
we have it
remember,
on the
Gabriel
3DS.
is
so-
actually like a cognitive human person now.
Yeah.
He's not a tiny ass, dumbass child
Yeah.
anymore.
We know about Pikmin.
He's still my annoying ass brother, but you know, he's
A lot of
human
people
That's
One
right.
other?
They did say Pikmin 4 was a
Yes.
thing.
Pikmin is
That's
Pikmin is
right.
eventually coming.
hmm
And I think that'll be pretty cool. Otherwise, I mean, I can't really think of any games specifically that I want like revamped and brought back.
Nobody wants Animal Crossing.
Oh, of course. That's kind of a.
I know,
kind
but
of
that's
we know it's coming.
Yeah,
it's gonna come
I
at some point.
I'm trying to think
I
of things
just
that like we
gotta
don't
say,
know about,
like-
things that like completely out there.
I have absolutely nothing against Animal Crossing. It's an adorable game. I can play it for a little bit, and then I don't understand how there's an Animal Crossing fandom. Like,
Oh, no,
how
I-
there are people that are out there and get like hype about Animal Crossing. I don't understand.
Well, I mean, you can
that.
say
It
that-
honestly got it. Honest to
Because-
God,
You can say that
baffles
about
me.
any game though.
Like I know it's
Yeah.
out there.
That's
I
true.
know that like it's just so weird. It's such a relaxed game. How do you get
Because
hype over that?
Because you know there's a whole site that's still running that's specifically meant for like a trading and get together forum like for Animal Crossing.
I know.
And it's still highly active. Like people love that game.
Like, I acknowledge that it exists. It boggles my mind.
Just the fact that they had the new update in New Leaf like a year back. The fact that
that was cool.
They're still supporting New Leaf.
That was something else.
Yeah, they just like completely revamped the way that you put together your house and stuff. I was like, oh, it's so much easier.
You know, Yoshi and Kirby's coming. What else?
And you could sit on rocks.
Oh yeah, they added little things like that. You could sit on the rocks and stuff. I thought that was awesome. The little revamp they could do. I really was hoping it meant something more than it like did. They didn't seem to do anything more with it after that again.
Oh, did any of you play Animal Crossing Pocket Camp or
no?
No, thank you.
Okay.
I wanted to.
Like, apparently it's going to have like some kind of relation or like, I don't know how to describe it, but some kind of like way of use with like the Switch version.
Yeah, I don't mind that.
I have no idea what that would be.
I could see you like somehow connecting them both. So if you get something in one game, you can like send it to the other game or something like that. I could see something along those lines happening. But I don't want to play the mobile version. Either way though, I probably wouldn't play new Animal Crossing. I don't have the time for that kind of game these days. But yeah, I can see connecting with the mobile version. That's the other thing though, because they're putting out this mobile version. Like, would they put out a new one right like anytime soon for Animal Crossing? I don't see it coming this year. Although I'd really hope that it would.
I mean, do you think Final Fantasy 15 is coming to Switch also?
No.
It's not gonna happen.
I don't see it happening.
See, I'm very on like Final Fantasy VII Remake. Ever so slight possibility. But
I can see that.
It depends on how Octopath Traveler sells, because that's like the big ass like Square Enix RPG right now.
I really hope that sells well, because that game looks great.
Oh, I have no doubt that it will. Like all the classic Final Fantasy people that like don't like the action RPG elements of it, like they look at this game and they're creaming themselves.
See, Final Fantasy and Nintendo have always been weird since they split off and went to stop being on Nintendo systems.
Yeah, but
and it was just so strange how Cloud was announced for Smash,
Cloud
and then they
muscled his way into Smash Brothers. For some reason, Nintendo and Square have been all buddy.
Yeah, but like right when he was released into Smash, there was like also the announcement for Final Fantasy for the remake of Final Fantasy VII. So it always seemed like such weird timing that those two things coincided. I feel like there's a chance that that'll be on the Switch, even though I still don't think it will be the remake. But 15, I don't think it's ever going to happen on the Switch. I mean, if they do, it's going to be that crappy version, that crappy like the mobile version, whatever it is.
I don't even want that crappy version. I want the really nice one.
I feel like that.
Screw the crappy version.
Because they said that they were working on something for Switch. They did say that they were more than Octopath Traveler, like in terms of Final Fantasy. But it seemed like they were going to do like that Final Fantasy 15 like Pocket Edition game. Which would be really annoying.
No, it really would, because the Switch, if you just dumb down the graphics just a little bit, the Switch can run it. I'm sure it can.
Oh, definitely. Again, if it can run Breath of the Wild and Doom, it can run any game pretty much, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
There shouldn't be any reason why any game couldn't run unless it was like a bullet hell. That's when you get to the point where you have like a million things on the screen, like not just in the world, like actually on screen at once, there should be a problem. But most games don't have that. It's very rare that games have that many objects moving at once.
Any hope for Kingdom Hearts 3?
That
same kind of thing.
I think that.
No, see, I'd say Kingdom Hearts 3, but sadly the game just doesn't exist, guys. There's no way in hell that game exists. It's like the Final Fantasy VII remake. That doesn't exist, guys.
Well, let's just say that it did. Let's just say that it.
There is literally nothing you can do to make me believe that the game exists. Like, you can show me all the gameplay. You can bring me a copy of the game right now. It doesn't exist.
Well, I'm not saying it exists. I just think that if it does exist, it has to be on Switch. There's no reason why it should be. If
they made a Kingdom Hearts 3, yeah.
If they did make it. Because they've had
theoretically, if they ever had the idea, yeah, they should be.
But Kingdom Hearts does have a history with Nintendo systems in a way that, like, you know, other series, with like Final Fantasy doesn't. Like Nintendo, like Kingdom Hearts has its main games on everything but Nintendo, but then it has all the side games on Nintendo systems, on the Nintendo handhelds.
Yeah, and the thing is, those games are, well, at one point, they were exclusive to Nintendo until the remix game.
That was the thing, is that they were exclusive.
Those games were exclusive.
But I mean, there's no reason that it can't be on Switch if they ever decided to make it. Because we know it doesn't exist, Nerdieo.
Yeah. I mean, I know, it's crazy. Hey,
Anyway.
Kingdom Hearts 3, crazy idea, guys, but if it were to happen.
What is this, Kingdom Hearts 3? I don't even know what you're talking about.
But if they were working on it, I know that they're not working on it for Switch right now. That's definitely not happening right now. That's going to be like 3 years after the game would be released. They're going to be like, nah, maybe we'll put it on Switch now.
Anyway.
Yeah, that's probably it.
Let's stop depressing ourselves real quick. And,
All the things we wish would be there.
what?
Any other games that anyone wishes would be on the Switch?
I swear to God, there was something else.
I've always personally wanted Street Fighter 5 on Switch.
Fair enough. Or
I feel like these. Tekken's actually pretty possible considering they put Tag Team Tournament on Wii U.
Yeah.
I mean,
that was like one of the earliest titles on the Wii U.
I mean, does anyone remember when the 3DS came out? Like, one of the flagship games was Street Fighter, wasn't it?
Yeah, Street Fighter 3D edition.
Yeah, it was Street Fighter 4.
That was like the flagship game for the 3DS when it first came out, highlighting the 3D and everything, specifically when you were doing cutscenes and certain attack animations. So I'm surprised that they only redid Street Fighter 2. Was that what they did?
And then they announced the collection of like Street Fighter 1 all the way to Street Fighter 3, the newest version.
They're just retarded for not putting the newest one on there. Like they should have just immediately put their newest Street Fighter on the Switch.
Yeah, I would immediately put down $40 for it because that's how much the game is. There's no reason it should be $60.
That's why I don't understand why
Street Fighter 5 is $40.
It depends if it's like one of those Game of the Year editions or whatever with like the DLC on it. Then maybe $60.
No, even you'd think so, but even if they just released Street Fighter 5 Arcade Edition, and that comes with all the DLC, and it's only $40.
Okay.
Plus, now there's a new season pass for more shit that they're going to download that you could download later. That game never ends.
Speaking of Soul Calibur 6.
There you
that
go.
needs to be on Switch. I would love that.
Also,
aren't there like a ton? Isn't the person that said Soul Calibur 6 would be a thing? Didn't they say it was going to be on Switch?
Someone did allude to that. Someone who has done other rumors and like is kind of hit and miss. They did say Soul Calibur 6 would be on the Switch.
The developer themselves has been saying they don't want to put it on Switch right now, but it's a definite possibility.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's what every developer's
when
saying.
it happens, either A, bring back Link, because that motherfucker was in the GameCube version, he was broken as hell and was goddamn beautiful.
That's the thing, it's not even out of the ordinary. It's been on Nintendo.
Or put Lucina in there.
Or that.
Put my girl in there. Give me Lucy.
Because usually whenever they put it to a system...
I heard that groan. You want to fight? You want to fight, boy?
But Soul Calibur on any system has always had...
I don't mean to stick specifically with fighting games, but there is I'm not sure if you guys ever played Street Fighter Cross Tekken.
No, I never played that one actually.
But
actually, there's a new one.
There's a completely original, brand new title version of the game called Tekken Cross Street Fighter.
Okay.
And that's coming out sometime soon. I would like to see it on Switch. And I'm not sure how the game is going to be played because last time the first game was played with Street Fighter mechanics. I'm hoping that this game will be with Tekken mechanics.
Okay.
That'd be interesting.
That's probably fair game.
I like Street Fighter mechanic more than Tekken mechanics. For the most
part.
Absolutely.
But
then I think Soul Calibur mechanics beat them all. I love guard impacting so much. If they even include that in the new one.
Anyway,
you know, I had another game in my mind, but then
I think we've been rambling for quite a long time
nearly
now.
3
I feel like
hours.
we might be going on a little excessively now.
Well, that's why I say the speculation and the wants for the end, because it was going to be the rambly bit.
Any final thoughts from anyone?
I'm trying to think of a game that I wanted on Switch, because I had it in my mind, and now I can't have it. Now I don't have it. Oh my god.
I mean, honestly, Metroid Prime 4 is coming to Switch, and that's all I've ever needed to make my life complete. So
I do have, unless someone else has something else to talk about, I do have one last question to bring in.
What's up?
How about you, Nerdieo? Anything else you want to add in before we start getting to the end of it?
No. Go ahead. Get to the end of it.
So I want to know so the first year of the Switch was amazing. There was plenty of games every single month, but now that it seems to be slowing down a little bit, and we're kind of in a lull of like big first-party games or big third-party games coming out. And you know, Labo was just you know revealed and all that stuff. They're doing some weird things with it. But what's the next step for the Switch? Is it just having like the next like specific games that are coming out on it, or is there something like what will be next for the Switch for past this year? Because we don't have anything specifically like big happening for it lately.
I think the smartest decision for second year, keep the momentum flowing. Like, we had an incredible first year. We all have proof of that. Like, we had some great hard-hitting games. 2 games of the year. 2 contenders for games of the year on the same console, first party. Like, we got all kinds of third-party games and shit. Right now, they just focus on keeping the momentum going. They're doing weird shit with cardboard. We don't really need to say much more about that. Right now, what's most important is that they have a steady stream of games. Once we get to like year 3, then they can start doing some more crazy shit. That's when they can start doing more like experimental games. I feel like this year, high quality games and maybe even some kind of game that like show off the properties of the Joy-Con a little bit more. Like, you guys remember Wii Sports Resort, right?
Of course.
Something like that, but for Switch.
WarioWare.
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 I agree. That's all you need.
3-4 Switch.
Yeah, 3-4 Switch.
God damn.
Okay, so Nerdieo and Taru, you two, any ideas from either of you?
I mean, I think what they need to focus on is getting a little bit more like big games that people really want on there. For the developers that are unsure about it, that don't want to come onto their team yet, like you need to work with these developers of the big games that people want on Switch that everyone's unsure about. Like, I know it's probably not gonna have a Final Fantasy 15, Kingdom Hearts, and even I'd like to say maybe a new Call of Duty on the Switch. I really highly hope.
Those have been going downhill though.
But it would grab a lot of people though. It would grab a lot of people.
I think they need to focus on some developers of the people they don't have, of the non-Nintendo fans that they want to grab. And I only bring Call of Duty. I know we're all not fans of it, but it's there. It's a big one. We have the sports.
Yeah, it does.
We have the sports ones, but we don't have some of the big ones that people are looking for. Some of the big contenders that are deciding for people to buy a Switch or not.
That's exactly what I was going to say, though, is that Nintendo's had a great first year, and we don't seem to have anything really until whatever happens with Metroid Prime 4 or maybe like Animal Crossing. Like, we don't really have anything else.
I mean,
big.
I mean, we're absolutely going to get some kind of crazy ass announcement at E3.
But as of right now, there's nothing big that Nintendo's working on. Not like Breath of the Wild or Mario Odyssey big. Like that's like I'm talking like that size. So I think until that they start getting the next stuff out, like Metroid Prime 4 or whatever their next actual announcements are during E3, I think we really need third-party developers to step up on some of their games. That's what I think is the most important right now. Because
we need to bring the people who are questioning the Switch. Oh, why should we even buy a Switch? Because it has these games on it. We were able to get these developers on our team. We were able to finally get them on Switch. Come to Switch.
I'm sure that if we can get things like Overwatch, that would be an immediate.
I can't believe
pre-ordered, Ultimate Edition, Special Edition, every edition.
Overwatch is bring so many people. Fortnite as well.
Exactly,
Fortnite.
and I don't like Overwatch, but these are the kind of games that need to be ported over.
PS4, I never fucking touched it, man. I hated it. I was upset with myself about that.
Overwatch, Fortnite is a huge right now. Fortnite, I think, freaking messed up PUBG, because I don't even hear anyone talking about PUBG anymore. I just hear everyone talking about Fortnite.
I know they're saying PUBG can come on the Switch though too, because now they have like a mobile version of it.
Oh, really? I didn't know that.
Did you guys hear that the developer of the game was interviewed, and he said that he's seen that Doom can run on the Switch.
Yeah.
So he can only believe that it's possible.
Yeah.
Because and this is what we need. We need more people to believe the Switch can run it.
Right now, only available in China is a mobile version of PUBG, like that works on cell phones basically. So it could definitely absolutely work on Switch. Apparently, it runs decently too. So that's just a matter of him actually doing it. That's what we need, I think. I think that's what's more important than anything right now. Until we get the next big announcements from Nintendo, is that we get some kind of good third party in there. More than there's already some great third party on here too, which is the amazing part. Like I think the third party on
We
here
just
is better
need
than anything we have
more.
on the Wii U.
They're on a straight roll with these third parties and these indies. We need more. They need to keep doing it. They need to keep pressing for it. What do you think, Nerdieo?
Two things. There's two things I want specifically.
Okay.
One is another big push for Amiibo.
Yes.
Oh,
I really want to see them push Amiibo a ton. I want to see them be just as aggressive as they were with Wii U. Because it's physical DLC that everybody loves.
We need some kind of big game specifically for them, though.
Like I was saying,
like some kind of I don't know.
like I said before, I could see them doing a Labo thing with that, making a Labo Amiibo game.
Like they are like the most recent games I believe were Shovel Knight, Zelda, and Odyssey.
Yeah, but they
For
all just,
Amiibo?
but they just did little things. None of them actually like were an Amiibo game or anything like. Yeah, they're gonna obviously
the
keep on
only
working
thing
that.
I can
But
really think of, and it wasn't even on Switch, was that was the little mini game on DS where it was like a little minions, and each amiibo had a specific map that you would have to be able to get through. That's the only thing I could think of that was really an amiibo-oriented game, and I feel like they need something like that for Switch. Something maybe not exactly like that, but something that can use amiibo that way.
So that was the first thing. What was the other thing, Nerdieo?
The second thing, okay, imagine you're in the store, right, chilling, getting some groceries, going down the aisle. You're not even in the game section. You're not even in the electronics section. You're in the breakfast section.
Oh no!
Getting some, maybe looking for some of that Super Mario cereal. But imagine you buy that box of cereal. You're all finished with it. Don't throw that cardboard away because it's a Nintendo Labo.
Just inside of every cereal box.
Just imagine
everything. Like I still wasn't ready.
Imagine there was like different boxes turned into different things for Nintendo Labo. I feel like that's just too perfect. Like they turned the Mario series.
There's a little
like they turned the Mario cereal.
You know, that would be beautiful, but have you guys seen the amount of laziness they put into the backs of cereal boxes these days? Like, have you ever tried reading a cereal box lately? They are such lazy puzzles. I think that would be too expensive for them to do. To be fair, they did make the Mario cereal an amiibo.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
That was an amiibo. They've actually dedicated, put time to put.
It was just
amiibo technology.
The same shit all the other amiibos do, except it just called it a delicious amiibo as opposed to a lovely amiibo.
A delicious amiibo.
It also healed Mario if he needed the heart.
Okay. So you know, we could definitely use a bigger push for amiibo stuff. That would be very nice to have with the Switch. Although it seems like the amiibos are the only real like figured things still going on. Like Skylanders seems to have died off entirely, and so has the other one. What was the other one?
Infinity.
Infinity. They both seem to have died off.
Skylanders is still going, but I don't.
Oh yeah, Disney Infinity. They actually had to cancel because they lost the rights to Infinity.
Oh, did they?
Really? That's funny.
Yeah, they completely threw away the rights, and pretty much whatever we have now is what we're getting.
It's Lego Dimensions, Nintendo Amiibo, and Skylanders. And Lego Dimensions, I think Lego Dimensions sells a bit more than Skylanders because we don't have a lot of Lego Dimensions in my store. Well, Skylanders is like full to the brim.
Yeah, I just hope that the Amiibo don't go the same way as all those. The Amiibos, they need to do something to bring those back. Especially, I mean, they're doing Labo stuff. How could they not bring Amiibo? Like, it's just like right there in the same
They're pretty
wheelhouse.
much hinting that they're going back to a toy company type thing, so let's really hope. Amiibo was really the first step for that, and now they have Nintendo Labo.
Alright.
Everyone's tired.
But yeah, those are my.
I feel like we should.
Those are my two things that I want.
So before we do that, how about any final thoughts, Nerdieo? Because I think that we're about ready to finish this off. It's been 3 hours. I didn't think we were gonna go for 3 hours.
One more very last thing, and I will literally be done. Purple Joy-Cons.
Purple Joy-Cons.
Yep.
Purple Joy-Cons.
Which kind of purple we talking here? We talking lavender? Or we talking like
galaxy?
purple?
Every purple. Every purple. I don't care. Every purple.
We're talking Eric Andre. What if it was purple?
No, you know what? There is actually one more thing
Rain.
there is actually one more thing that I want. We want to talk about Joy-Cons. Special Joy-Con. Like Joy-Cons that have specific features for certain games, or like more features built in that would be used in more games. Like there were some really cool mock-ups for like Pokemon Snap Joy-Cons that had like extra features on them.
Oh, and like the GameCube controller Joy-Con.
Or like that, yeah, just random Joy-Con accessories. We need more Joy-Con accessories, including styles of controller.
Kind of like how the Wii remote was able to be put into a tennis racket, a golf club, or anything.
Kind of like that. See, that's like Labo now. That's kind of more like Labo now.
Yeah,
we need like more styles of Joy-Cons, more shapes, maybe even different sizes of them, and different like functionalities within. Like I would love to have a Joy-Con that like specifically works for like, what was that old game called? The where you got to take the solar power from the Game Boy pack, you put it in the sun. What was that game called?
No idea. I
know what
you know what I'm talking about. Though,
I don't know the name of it.
Yeah, but whatever.
Yeah, I know
whatever that game was.
Sunlight.
Like it actually had a piece in the game cartridge that would interact with the actual sunlight. It would be cool if we had more Joy-Con to do specific things like that. I know it'd be a little expensive for certain games, especially, but it would be really cool to have like external accessories that work for different games.
It would be interesting. I also want like actual like Joy-Con designs, I guess, but they're never really gonna do that. Not shapes, but more like instead of just a solid color, I want you should just say purple. I was they'll galaxy purple.
You know, they'll paint. They'll get different colors and they'll paint them differently eventually. I'm sure. Right now they're sticking to basics.
I remember the freaking galaxy colored DS. That shit was beautiful.
Yeah, you can tell
if they do that for the Joy-Con.
No, that's what I want to see. That makes it look. That sounds great.
Hold on, we're getting that echo again. There you go. But they're definitely starting off simple with the colors. They're gonna go crazier with the colors as time goes on. That's just a keep it simple for now. Alright, but I think that's going to be the end of our discussion stream.
I think we've actually gone through everything. An entire year of Switch. It's had a great first year. It sold over 10 million copies.
No, I think, let's see, we have almost 15 million, if not 15 million units.
Wow.
Over 52 million software sales. And when you compare that to the Wii, I mean, considering the amount of time that the Wii sales have had, like, this is easily gonna reach that.
We already broke Wii U.
In its first year, the Switch outsold the Wii U's entire lifetime sales. That is both depressing
and it's
amazing.
Already up to half of the hardware sales of Wii
the software.
U, of the software sales.
Yeah. And that's
not to mention that if it's creeping up on 20,000, that means it's already almost outsold the Xbox One, which is at 30.
I think that
million.
I think the last number I checked that was accurate, like up to date, was like 16 million currently, close to 16. The number I have right now is from 2 months ago.
And then
oh yeah, I see.
PS4 is just the goals because PS4 has like 75 million.
Wow, yeah, PlayStation really has sold more than Xbox. I never knew that.
Yeah, but if you're looking at the lifespan of the PS4 and the lifespan of the Wii, like given how that the Switch has only been 1 year. Unless something drastically bad happens, it should easily make up Wii or PS4. I think it should easily make up Wii numbers, which beats the PS4 out of the water too.
I'm actually shocked that the Nintendo DS beats the Wii.
Yes, and of course Nintendo DS because it's like the Nintendo DS beats the Wii, and then that's not including the 3DS family. That's like the DS.
Wow, I'm shocked.
Well, here's the thing though: the Nintendo DS is probably running from original DS. DS Lite, DSi, DSi XL.
It's the entire family.
It's 154 million for all DS hardware, and then 71 for all 3DS versions. And I'm guessing this would probably count the 2DS too right here.
Yeah. Exactly.
But yeah, if you look at those numbers and project it for like another few years, it should easily pass. It should easily pass the PS4 as long as things keep going the way that they have.
Hopefully, it will surpass the Wii. And I mean,
it
probably is.
They clearly have the time, too, because they've already talked about saying they want to go past the 5 and 6 year lifespan of a console and go into, like, 10 years with the Nintendo Switch.
Nice.
Well, because they're looking at how long the DSs have been around. And, yeah, they upgraded the 3DS, but how many years ago was the 3DS now? Actually, I'm curious.
That's
and then
I got my 3DS in 10th grade, and I am, like, 21 right now. Oh, my God. That's gotta be.
The 3DSs are like 9 years old now. 8 years old now. Jesus so I mean, if they're looking, yeah, and that's the 3DS.
7 years old.
That's the 3DS. That's not counting the original DSs or anything like that. So they're looking at the lifespan of the 3DS when they're saying that they want the Switch to last that long. That's basically what's happening. Because they can't even kill the 3DS if they try to right now. They're still trying to kill it.
They're bringing everything to Switch. They're putting out just a little bit of DS games. This is probably going to be the last DS year, to be honest.
Yeah, I'd be
with all
surprised
this 3DS stuff.
for at least the first parts. The third-party stuff will still keep releasing, but the Nintendo should really stop with that soon. But they're looking towards those numbers when they say they want the Switch to last 10 years, and that easily could.
Alright.
I can tell the nerd Mighty's out of it. So everyone, we can all start signing off. I'll let you guys all do your own little sign-offs.
I don't really have a
and you guys
I have a big-ass welcome, but that's about it.
You guys can all flip for order with the coin that none of us have on us.
Go Nerdieo,
Roll
go say
initiative.
Oh, I'm just gonna go back to my cardboard Labo house. That's all.
Are you getting it ready for when Labo comes out? You just have a whole thing made there, just sitting inside of like a fort.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right. So Nerdy doesn't want to do a whole sign off. Taru.
Well, guys, have a good night. I mean, I hope you enjoyed our conversations, and I hope you believe that the Switch will last for 10+ years like Nintendo predicts. Because that's what I'm hoping. I won't even need to buy a new console.
Okay, and Mighty?
This has been Mighty, and in the next discussion, we speculate on Super Smash Bros. For Switch.
Yeah, so I was going to say, so we're going to sign off with that. Nerdio, thank you for joining us. Mighty, thank you for making the Mighty. This is actually all Mighty's idea, in case anyone's wondering. He wanted to do this for the longest, and we finally got it set up to work out. So the stream should go live on the. It's a stream, so I'm just gonna send it straight to publish on the site. If anyone wants to send it out that way, it's right there. I'm not gonna bother editing it too much unless one of you guys wants to do it, because I don't have the patience, honestly, for 3 hours of editing.
Unless Nerdio wants to do it.
And yeah, we're gonna try and do another stream, hopefully, to talk about just Smash one day. Because yeah, I told you, Mike, you wanted to talk about Smash. I knew that was not gonna happen. I knew we were gonna go way past 2 hours.
Oh no, we would.
So, guys, keep on for that. Nerdio, maybe you can join us for that one, too, hopefully.
Keep playing your Switch.
Yeah, I'd love to. Serious.
And, Nerdio, whenever you get fighters on PC, let me know. Cause,
yeah, absolutely. That's if they don't announce it for Switch by the time it comes out. I get the money.
I gave in. I was just waiting for Switch, and I was like, now I'm buying it now on PC. I gave up waiting. But, okay, so we are going to end that stream there. Thank you, anyone who's watching or watches it later on. We will see you guys in the next discussion.
Have a good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, Gracie.